higher after Politico reported that President Trump's administration is considering issuing an executive order on robotics next year. I don't think we've heard anything from the president himself or from his administration. I don't know if we have. I don't think we have. So keep your eye out for that. Also, Rich Tech Robotics, RR, I believe, was doing well on the day. It's up 10 2/3. SERV could be another one to keep an eye out there. SERV also up 11%. So the robotics names are still holding up. In fact, SERV is quite close to the day's high. So that robotics trade, Joey, could be an important one heading into the end of the week over here.
Apparently the chat's been saying about Tesla, guys. I've been living in my own world with Bitcoin and IWM, so I apologize that I missed everyone talking about that one there. But yeah, nice volume breakout in Tesla, so that move is most definitely being sustained. The best performing Mag 7 is not Apple.
No.
It is
not.
TSLA.
But you know what time it is, right?
It's, yeah, actually, I do know what time it is.
All right. So we'll see you guys same bat time, same bat channel. Don't forget, guys,
Thursday.
we start at 8 a.m. now.
Yeah, make sure
So
you
we're not
show up.
starting at 8:30 anymore. So join us bright and early. Myself, the Katina Man, Neil, Brendo, and Joey Options will be all on tomorrow, bright and early at 8 a.m. We'll see you guys later, and I'll see everybody shortly at the big desk.
Have a fantastic session, guys.
Hey everybody! Hey, would you look at that? I saw that conversation about no one noticing that Tesla was making power moves. I'm doing this because I'm pointing to the locator. If you look at the production screen. You know.
Oh.
Look at Tesla right there. There it is, #1 on the list. Now we got to zoom out. That was a perfect zoom in. There we go. We got iRobot, CAPR, Rich Tech Robotics, NVIDIA.
Yeah, some company named NVDA. Well, we'll check out that. I'm not sure what that is exactly.
What?
What RYCEY is Rolls-Royce.
No. That's Rich Tech Robotics.
Yeah, that's a Rolls-Royce logo, I think. Yeah.
Oh, the are on logo?
I think so. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's probably maybe that.
Well, I mean, that's what's on the front of Sharif's car, so I don't know if that's.
I don't drive a Rolls, so I have no idea. I don't know. What do I look?
You know what I mean? Hydration Nation says Apogee King. We've got our waters going on here. You know, exclusive Trader TV Live water bottles.
They're so exclusive that everyone that visits gets one.
Tell everybody that. You have people lined up outside over there.
My bad.
Yeah, I'm more of a Bentley kind of guy as well. You know. Sharif was gonna lend me out his Rolls Royce. I was like, nah, I don't want to be. I don't want to be. I can't be seen in a Rolls Royce.
Nah, you want that?
No, I can't be seen in a Rolls Royce.
Drive me around.
Yeah.
Sharif stole a car, says someone in the chat.
That was his younger days.
Really?
He never stole no car. I hope not. But you know, you never know. Nothing wrong with Grand Theft Auto, that's for sure. All right. So yeah, welcome back to the show. We're not in any position
Prime is bad.
right now. I actually almost shorted Marvell. Marvell just came right up into VWAP again. What a bad sort of run they had early. I mean, early. It was 10:30. We touched thing is that I think this is where I let my own bias come into play here a little bit, which you should never probably do as a trader. It's like I saw this trade and I was really thinking about the short because we really have respected VWAP all day on Marvell. Marvell with a big report yesterday. It was up over 10% last night. It got up to 107 and change. Yesterday, pretty much right at 5 o'clock when they started to discuss the buyout of Celestial AI there. And it started to go on the conference call. But then all of a sudden, you know, it's been fading out all day. Came in this morning, you know, was trying to hold this $100 level. Once we broke 100 rate into here, it was pretty choppy early, but then that 100 break gets us all the way down to 98. Retracement back to VWAP, retracement back to, like both times got hit off VWAP and then it just did it again. And I was like, yeah, the NASDAQ turned green there. I wasn't like 100% sure what I wanted to do. So I actually put a long in. I'm not in it right now, but if we break above this 99.10 area, I'm going long. So right now, this is the only active order that I have in the market right now, a break of this level right there. Now, I understand that it's going to be risky because we've broken VWAP before, and we could break it again and come right back in. And if we do, we'll just respect some of these levels. Because if the breakout doesn't work, then it's a fake out, and we can get out of that. So that's it's sort of an easy kind of play there for Marvell. But other than that, I kind of just sitting on the hands, you know,
there is one
the big stock for me was Apple, but
There's one thing to consider this afternoon. The president's speaking in 25 minutes. At 2:30, he's got a press conference.
So you know who's going to be busy?
Jensen's been talking to. Like he's getting he's on the Hill right now. Jensen Huang,
People.
CEO of, for anyone that doesn't know, the CEO of NVDA, which we've all heard of. I hope.
Yeah, just a brand new name there. No, I was going to say Adara. People probably already know this. This is like, anytime Trump is speaking is like the Super Bowl for Adara. So she's very, very excited.
She loves it.
She literally is up there and she gets like, she has these random like bits of emotion, and you'll maybe see her in the back. If you start seeing her like doing things, then you know that's get ready for a throw.
Gotta love
over there.
Gotta love your job.
But I thought today at 2 o'clock was I thought they were going to announce the new Fed chair. That was what I was thinking was going to happen.
We're still waiting,
but we'll see.
And you know what? The odds were jumping. It's weird because the odds were jumping.
Kevin Hassett almost 100%.
Well, so it was when Hassett's over 80, but there was a moment yesterday when
there was only ever those two guys.
Right, but there was a point where it dipped back to 60, and then right back. It like snapped. Like I don't know what caused that. Dara had an explanation yesterday, but I don't remember exactly what it was. But either way, it's back up to like 82 or 81%. See, real time there. And remember the other day, I was like, oh, you can earn 3.5% interest, but I couldn't find where I'd seen it before. It's like right here. That's the only reason I know Kalshi offers interest when you put money. That's what everybody's doing. They just want to get you signed up and get your account, because whether you use it or not, or make or not, you know, they're going to be able to put that money away, right, and earn bank on it, so they're able to pay you out some interest. And at the end of the day, the betting markets are always fun. It's interesting that, when you open this up, it's kind of hilarious that there's still any bets on Reader and Besson. Like the guys that you know it's not gonna happen, but there's always somebody willing to take a shot. So I'm not in anything right now. I was in Marvell a little bit during lunchtime, and I have my eyes on Intel right now. And then, of course, I think you have the robotics names going. iRobot and Rich Tech Robotics are both moving, not Rolls-Royce. And then SMR was just pointed out in the chat. This one just popped into the radar because it broke yesterday's high. 3.5% to the upside for SMR. What's more interesting, or is equally interesting on SMR, if you go back to this is the breakout in May. Pretty clear, holds a 50 period, very obvious breakout. Pretty much $18. Look what's holding right now in SMR. Pretty much exactly that $18 level with a couple of cents. This looks like a rounding bottom. I can't call it a rounded bottom because it hasn't actually broke out the resistance since holding that low. So there's your lit grab under 18. There's your hold of 18. This one could be breaking back out. So I've been a wait for the low teens kind of guy. I think maybe the chance to reload could be in here in front of the $18 level on SMR, but obviously that wouldn't be a day trade because it's not going to drop $1.70. So if we get in there any other day this week, I think I'm going to be a buyer of SMR, like the level that's forming on the daily.
Yeah, SMR is an interesting one. I don't really want to average into any of those stocks. Those are just like shots in the dark. You know, the stock that I bought this morning and told everybody I bought it. I've been talking about this ever since we had Raider Trader on a while ago talking about robotics and everything like that. And I had already been in this, and I had even asked him about this particular stock or ETF as well. It's ARKQ. So there it is today. This is, again, you know, whatever you like about Kathy Wood, just the manager of this. Not much volume. It's not going to be that well traded volume-wise, but we're in ARKQ, and I like the name. And we just bought it this morning at 109. So already up $2 here as we talk about the move in some of the robotic names, which has really helped out Tesla. I mean, this is the big Tesla. This is the big play, right, for Tesla moving forward is Optimus. I mean, that's what we've talked about with all of the pay package, and he wants to get that robotic army out there, doing laundry and anything, household chores.
As long as he's controlling.
Helping, yeah, exactly. As long as he's in control, he'll do all this. Doing whatever, cooking, cleaning, all of that. So, but anyways, there goes Tesla. Nice move to the upside. And I said 480 next week. I'm happy to sort of stick by that. And let's just see what winds up happening with Tesla. 450 right now, going higher. Watch out for maybe can we get a 450 break? this day. I mean, that's very possible as well. We just went right now in the last hour. We broke, basically bounced off 441 up to 447. So that's $6 right there. So I think we can do 3. Let's see what winds up happening at 450, a big key level. I don't care what the market's doing. I will punch long at 450. So get ready for that one coming in. And then I do have the Marvell play that I wanted to look at as well. We talked a little bit about that. So yeah, exciting moments ahead, and especially with that Trump talk. I think that's going to be.
You'd never know. That's the thing.
Like, I was like giving Adair compliments, you know, when I was saying that. Like, she gets super excited, and it lets us know that there's something going on, you know. And I think that that's something that we all need to pay attention to when he is on the mic. So coming up, man, in a moment near you very soon will be that President Trump. And you said it was what? Wasn't it 2 o'clock?
It's supposed to be 2:30, but I mean, we know how these go. Like, just supposed to be 2:30 can actually end up being any time.
It's funny. I read
scheduled for that.
I read a study. Hello, English. There was a study. I guess that makes sense. That it was Barack, I think, when they went back and said which president over the last certain amount of presidents, and I don't remember how many, were the latest for their conferences, for their, yeah, I guess, whatever, their talks.
I'm allowed to say it. CPT, baby.
Oh, yeah.
It's real.
Island time?
I can say island time. I can say CPT. Y'all can't say it, but I'm allowed to say it, so no one.
No, it's not. I mean, I don't know what that's related to. I always thought Bush was like, I don't know who the last ones were.
What?
Right there. Oh, I'm shaking my leg and it's affecting the camera. Okay. All right. We're excited, man. Hopefully coming up soon is Trump, but right now, even better than that, our own leader. It is Sharif over there with the rundown. All hail.
What's happening, Sean?
Welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, everyone, the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. The big boys are in a big mood, but they're locked, they're loaded, and they're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. But the only way to get those tickers on the Afternoon Rundown is to join us in the chat and vote every day. You got to throw in that $sign, though, before the ticker of your choice. But let's get right down to it. Before we go to the major averages, we're already getting comments from President Trump and Jensen Huang's meeting today. They met with, the reports are that President Trump met with Jensen Huang. He said Huang discussed export controls generally in the Trump meeting. However, Jensen saying we cannot degrade chips that we sell to China, talking about possibly that B30A variant based on the Blackwell architecture that was floated as possibly being a China-specific variant. I'm just looking for more comments here. I don't know if China would accept the H200 chips, said Jensen Huang. We support export controls, he goes on to say, and he discussed those export controls again with President Trump. And he doesn't think that China would accept the H200 chips. So as we get more comments, I'll bring them to you. Let's look, though, at all 4 major averages, and yes, they are all green. The NQ up 0.15. The NQ was almost very negative on the morning as we started off with that bad headline about Microsoft. The ES faring a bit better, up 0.4 on the day. The Dow looking to close in on 1% near the day's high right now. The Dow very, very strong, but none stronger than the Russell 2000 right now, up 1.5%, and most notably, of course, trading back above that 2,500 point area. The first ticker, as decided by you, TSLA, the best performing Mag 7 name on the day, just got into a new high right now as we speak, and likely because of this headline right here, shares of robotics linked stocks are trading higher after Politico reported that President Trump's administration is considering issuing, I should say, an executive order on robotics next year, boys.
And 420. Right?
What?
Boom. Sorry.
Okay.
Well, I had to.
No, I mean, you're exciting me. I was like, what are you doing over there? We have a show to do, Neil.
I'm just saying, you could see it right now. It was like almost perfect timing. We came over. It's always going to be a thing, regardless. Like, okay, we'll look at yesterday's low, almost exactly. Well, 422, but close enough. So I think maybe, again, you can't, like, look at the 420 area on this stock. Yeah, I'm not making it up. Like, 420 is a thing with Tesla. And I think we've seen this one, and maybe in the rear view for the time being. Look, I was one of those people who, during the 420 previous consolidation, was of the mind that we were getting to the top. He didn't quite get there. You could make the argument that we did. I would make the argument that we didn't. So this time, hopefully, is going to be a little bit different. But we spent so much time in this range. I think we end up range bound from the 420 to this like 460, like 470 area, I think it looks like. So a couple of wicks above there. I think we could spend some time in that price area. For this afternoon, I'm generally of the mind of pullbacks off afternoon breakouts as opposed to afternoon breakouts. So I would look for any dip that can hold the morning range top. I think would be good to go on Tesla. The robotics story was a big driver that you almost have to ask yourself this question. If we didn't get that Microsoft headline, where would we be right now? Because if we're up 4.25, when the NASDAQ did this off that Microsoft headline, like, would Tesla be up 7? Would this be like a 7 or 8% day? It's hard. It's an impossible question to answer, but it certainly wouldn't be 4.2. Like, we would have busted 450 by now. I do feel like there's a little bit more, especially with Microsoft walking back some of those comments. There's a little bit more to get to today. But I'm more of a buy the dip situation off of any kind of a 450 level, just because it is the afternoon. And we'll see what happens in 15 minutes. I don't know what Trump's going to do. He might do nothing to the market. That's the other thing.
All right. That just means new position. Yeah, so we got into Marvell now, finally. So I talked about this again, even as it was down here. I said this is the only active order that we have in right now. And that's Marvell trying to break through. So we got my teeth here. We got a VWAP break there, VWAP break there, VWAP break there. Every time it failed. So right there, we tested it. Again, that exact same theory about 30 minutes ago, an hour ago. And then it fell back in one more time there. So I'm going to do it. I'm just going to try here. And I know it looks silly because, like, why are we doing it? Why are we doing it? Why are we doing it? But this is the thing. The market right now is, we're trying to enter into power hour, which is still a while away. The NASDAQ is holding this 50-period moving average. The trend right now is long, it seems like to me. I don't know. But if the futures give it up, then we can get out of this trade. And that's the whole thing about what we're doing right now. I'm going to use the 50-period moving average. I'm going to give this 50 cents. If it breaks 50 cents, then we can get out. Other than that, I think that this is, if the march is back on for Marvell, then I'm pretty happy to be in this trade. And if not, we'll give it 50 cents. And it's a tough trade because it's the day of earnings. So we're never sure where big money's going. And right now, we'll be flat on this trade, and I like it. So we're going to try Marvell for 50 cents. First out, what's this tick up here? Ooh, that's $100. Okay, we have a long way to go before we even have to worry about anything now. I'm going to get something out at $90.50 just to make it 1-to-1 there. Probably get out half and then just play with house money. So that's going to be my trade here. Play with house money on half and then see what winds up happening. So let's just put this order in right now. 98.49 right there. That's the out. And it's not random at all. It is that 50-period moving average. So it's kind of nice that it's around 50 cents. I like the 50-cent call. Unless it's, yeah, so it's 55. So we'll take that right now and see what winds up happening. Yeah, look, Neil just did all the work there on Tesla. So I just want to talk about that trade that I'm in, which is now starting to go upside here. But yeah, Tesla, I'm surprised myself. There's a lot of people in the chat saying that they're surprised I'm not in this. Me too, to be honest with you. It was just focusing on those early headlines, as Neil mentioned there. Wasn't sure where we were going with it. Did not have it. I mean, I had it written down here as 430 long. Like, I don't know what else. There's 430 right there. So it came in, but it came in during that problem. And then it retested back right there, right when the market opened down to 431. So it's on the note here. It says 430 long. Should have had it. We don't. Okay, man. I mean, I don't know. I'm happy to be here and just happy to show you guys. Here's a trade on Marvell. So there it goes, man. Sometimes it's difficult to find trades. And let's just see if this one wants to work. I'm waiting now at 38 to get out of what would be about 15%. So let's see if it winds up working. I don't know. Marvell's starting to go right now. All right, that's it. So let's go. We have a lot of names to go through. We go through about 5 names. It's called The Rundown. And if you're joining us now, thank you, but make sure you join us every day at 8 a.m. It's a brand new start time, 8 a.m. So for those of you that are in the afternoon sort of rundown here or whatever with this afternoon show, join us every day.
Permanently.
Yeah, permanently.
Ever.
8 a.m. we are live and kicking. And we talked about that's where we had iRobot at $2 and things like that. So, all right, let's go see what's number 2 on there. I'm going to say, Yeah, you know, we could talk about crypto too. We'll be doing
Although
that. I
that's
don't
kind
know.
of the Tesla story too.
All right, let's go back and Sharif will tell us what number 2 is here.
I like the guessing now that it's not on the board anymore, guys. CAPR Therapeutics, guys, big day for them, up 344%. It was really because of the phase 3 trial. So their drug showed statistically significant improvements in skeletal and cardiac function with boys and young men with Duchenne muscle dystrophy. Also, the results highlight the long-term consistency and the reproducibility of the drug, as well as its safety and tolerability. They believe now that the data with the phase 2 and phase 3 trials would address the prior FDA concerns and should be sufficient, the company says, for regulatory approval, up 343%, but off the highs.
Yeah, and when you get price action like this, you have to remember, like, pricing any kind of a single drug biopharma company, right? Like, it's going to be intense because everything usually is riding on, you know, you've got one horse in the game, and that's going to be it all. So it's obviously going to be in a bit of a, let's figure out how to price this news. And as far as I'm concerned, it's mostly guesswork at the addressable market and all this stuff. And maybe there's people out there who have a really fantastic idea about this particular field and can really figure out what future value might be. All that stuff, just throw it out the window because I don't know, and you got to know what you don't know. From a technical standpoint, this needs to hold prior highs. We call them bag hold levels, and I could give the example of like Viking. Viking would be a really good example of a stock where they would get a big spike, and you would see it reject some of these big bag hold type of levels when you get the big spike, and that's when you know to be able to get out because it would end up selling off after positive news. In this particular case, it did actually hold. So sorry, let me just give you the number. So like this is about 22 to 23 bucks. Where did this bounce today? Pretty much 22. So you go out to the daily, that's where the stock bounced. I wasn't trading it. I think that's where you need to close today. Otherwise, it's probably going to be a bit of a nothing burger. And I certainly am not considering, I don't see much of a trade here. You could maybe try a quick little breakout VWAP trade if you like it. The volume is really tapered off. See the dwindling volume. I don't like decreasing volume on a gapper. But yeah, the 22 levels where you want to key off, a close above that just means there's at least some confidence that that prior bag hold level is going to hold higher. And it showed you that's where the buyers were too.
Or a recent digging into some exchanges, we were able to find out about BTCC, and they are a top 30 global exchange. And this is the thing, they have never, ever been hacked. While major exchanges keep getting wrecked, BTCC stays untouched. There's also, interesting here, I'm not sure how this happens, but there's 0 KYC if you're in the US, Canada, and Europe. Through Trader TV, you get 100 USDT for registering, so make sure you do scan that QR code immediately. Plus, you get a 15% bonus that covers up to 15K of your losses while trading on their exchange. So I'm not sure what I'm missing, but just scan that QR code for more information. And please, everybody, do your own due diligence whenever you're looking at some exchanges or putting money anywhere, really. But that's BTCC, so we want to thank them for sponsoring and getting their message out there. So BTCC. Okay, let's go again. Marvell just basically fell off 30. So we were waiting at 38, and there it goes, like a bunch of tops there at 35. So maybe we missed it. Well, again, we're only getting out 15%. Maybe we'll put an order there in case it comes back up. Just what I'm looking to do while we go back over to Sharif.
IRBT, guys, rocketing up here over 70% on the day on the same catalyst, the same headline that we spoke about with respect to Tesla. More information on this one here. Looks like, as I mentioned, the Trump administration weighing an executive order on robotics coming early next year. But it's not only the executive branch here at the White House. The Department of Commerce says robotics and advanced manufacturing play a central role in its push to bring production back to the U.S. And the Department of Transportation also taking an approach here. They're saying they're preparing to launch a robotics working group potentially before the year end, according to a person familiar with the matter. So IRBT, guys, at $3.33, up 70%.
Tesla might have Optimus, but iRobot has a 45% short float. So, you know, that's going to win most days when you have a catalyst like this. But a double top, double top right now at 350, which looks enticing for inventory into. The daily chart doesn't look very good, but if you have a 45% short float, your daily chart doesn't usually look good. So, you know, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Beggars can't be choosers, all that good stuff. But I think this 350 double top is attempting to break out as we speak. Was kind of hoping we'd see $3 for VWAP. I was in Rich Tech earlier, which was more flat for me. Like it had a win and then a loss, and like it came right back, but way choppier. Sorry, much more choppy, and 13%. So I just think that iRobot makes a little bit more sense. Still believe that's I'm not a fan of the movie, but the stock is looking really good there today. I've said that way too many times. Just a very, very poor movie for such a fantastic book. But the stock looking good today. I'd rather get long if it's not going to be VWAP. I'll look to see if this can put in some higher lows going into a 350 break.
All right, we just got out some. I mean, Marvell just spiked into 30, so we talked about taking that out. So we took out 20%. I was only going to take out 15, but we took out 20. Let's wait to see what happens. I mean, this is not the reason, obviously, why we're coming to you guys live, 8 o'clock. But as soon as I'm only like doing that because we had this call on iRobot, and not the call, we had the stock. Like as soon as that robot news was announced, sort of, or that started to go, I remember looking at it and we were like, oh, iRobot's at. We were talking about the pricing there of it, and it was $2.02, and I had it up right here, and we could have just mashed that long, and you could have actually gone long pretty much all pre-market, you know, until eventually the market opened up, and then it was just boom, pow, nice upside move. So that market actually opens up right down here where iRobot is near the lows of 218, and then really the break, like next time, any pre-market level. And the thing is, this is not typical of most of these names because this one just kind of continued all day. Sure, you get a little bit of a pullback there and a little bit of a pullback here, but you're still respecting this 200 period all day. This is not like those random runners that we've traded like that VCIG or things like that. This is like backed by a story. Now the 71% has a lot to do with the 45% short float, that is for sure. I mean, if you were short this name, you've been just absolutely crushing it. Like you're not even that, I mean, you're mad about this, but like honestly, it's still they're still short most likely. I don't, you know, for me, this is going to be a pretty epic squeeze if it breaks through this $5 mark, and that could actually happen tomorrow. Like as people will start to go out there and research what some of these plays mean, you'll see something for iRobot, and just waiting to see a $5, $5.50, $6 break, and then it's like you get rid of all of this and you start going to the upside. I wonder if that short float will decrease or not, but nice move up. We've seen moves like this happen in Beyond Meat, but this is like a legit story, so I could see this going, and there has to be something with iRobot because Amazon tried to take these guys down. So, you know, I guess I like the stock. You know, but.
Yeah, they weren't allowed to.
Will there be a day two play in it is what I think everyone's waiting for.
The other thing too about, I don't know, like you feel for the shareholders because I don't remember you look at the chart, I don't remember the actual date that that deal got rejected.
Oh yeah, it was like $30.
But when the chart's that bad, there's pretty much at no point when they could have been bought by Amazon, the shareholders didn't get absolutely screwed by that. But that's, you know, that's, I guess, the FTC's job to a certain extent. I mean, Amazon's so powerful, like, would it matter?
I think that was Sharif's favorite, Lena Khan, maybe.
Look, I'm a very big, if you believe in free markets, then you have to understand, like, you want there to be curbs on monopolies. Like, that's like one of the things that there's supposed to be controls on. But there's just so many times, the other side of you that just, when you deal with the markets, it's like, how really bad was that for the shareholders? How really bad was it for let's say, Save? Like some of the airline deals that don't go through. Right. It's like all that happens in the airlines is failures and then consolidations.
They need that.
And so when a company is failing, you're gonna be like, well, there's not gonna be competition in the lower fare space. I'm like, well, what happens when they go bankrupt and then they just get picked up on pennies in the dollar anyways by the same firm that was gonna get them in the first place?
I mean, it's not like Hertz went bankrupt, came back, went to the pink sheets, came back, and now it's HTZ. I mean, it's around, it's cruising. Luckin Coffee was another one that got demoted out of the NASDAQ at $2. Now it's $35.
They went back in.
Yeah, it's $35 name.
Yeah,
I think
they have a chance.
And apparently Jeff Mendo, but in between skiing and everything, he talked about Luckin Coffee over there in New York City. I'm excited to try that or to hear what he has to say.
Jeff does ski and golf a lot.
About all of that. Yeah, well, I'm not just saying.
He does.
Probably is on the slopes right now.
If it's not golf weather, he's skiing. It's one of.
I'm going to message Mendel and find out exactly where this guy is, and I'll get back to you. Okay, what's up, Sharif?
You guys are killing me, man. I love it. All right, so we can confirm that President Trump did meet with Jensen Huang today, and the topic of the discussion was export controls. Here's what we know so far. We know, as I mentioned at the top of the show, Jensen saying we can't degrade chips that we sell to China. He discussed export controls generally in the Trump meeting, and he says he supports export controls, but he doesn't think that China would accept the new H200, some new China-specific variant. First time hearing of it today, guys. Also, Jensen Huang also expected at 5 o'clock at the CSIS event. That should be obviously after market hours. And then separately, we are still waiting for President Trump to come and make or to comment. So those are the headlines here for NVIDIA, down a little more than 1/3%.
Yes, sir. And before we get to that, when the seconds count, trust me, you don't have time to wait for just treating symptoms. And that's why NYSE-listed Oragenics, OGN, is rewriting the rules of neurological care. They're looking to develop the first FDA-approved treatment for concussions. You can book a meeting with the team today. Shout out to Oragenics, OGEN. I want to thank them for sponsoring the show. I like that graphic. Back on the ice faster. It's hockey.
Yeah, why not? It's hockey season.
Or, you know, we were just talking about skiing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another sport. Lots of concussions there. So we're supposed to be pivoting to, I believe, NVIDIA is what I just heard. But let me just quickly, because I said I was going to buy the dip in iRobot and then bought the dip and then bounce on iRobot. So I can't really call it a trend break. That's not long enough for a trend break, but it kind of was. So I'm buying this consolidation and giving it to 320. I don't want to hold to VWAP because I think VWAP is usually going to be its own trade. So iRobot, that'll be the power move. I think this morning was one of those annoying. Well, I'm really glad I didn't trade NVIDIA today. We're talking for the lesson of the day. I was like, all the longs I had for a plan of action didn't take them in anything that was tech until after NVIDIA decisively held $180, and that was also the same moment that Microsoft made a good low. So like it was just a chop fest off the 180, and then eventually when Microsoft responded, that was the big spike. But it's a very choppy trade here in NVIDIA without, I think, obvious direction, unfortunately. And all it seems to be doing is accumulating for the last few sessions. We just keep getting to 180. And every time we pull away from it, it drags you back in both directions. There hasn't been a breakaway by bouncing or flushing and then taking the next level out, either upside or downside. For NVIDIA. So I think it's a bit of a chop fest off 180. You need to find a little bit more direction here. And this is, to me, it's turning into a stay away stock because there's just going to be better plays. For myself, that happened to be Intel today. But yeah, I just feel like until this one decides what it really wants to do, like breakout 186, break down 173, don't do that, but hopefully don't do that. But just way too much chop off the 180. So you can maybe scalp away from it. You're just not getting follow through.
All right, here we go, man. Let's see if we can get some money out of this trade right now. We're now in the money 40 cents as we continue to go a little bit higher on Marvell. You know, I broke this one down, and hopefully you guys like what I talked about, and now you're in the money 30 cents. So good trade there. Yeah, no, for NVIDIA, I really like that 179 to 180. I mean, it's the level that we wrote down yesterday. And it held. Like yesterday's sticky note literally says 179 to 180. So today, again, like I was saying this all morning, without that headline, I am hella long NVIDIA, and we're probably crushing it. But I just got too nervous early about it and shouldn't have. So, this is the one trade. This is in and out by accident. I thought I was trading Apple. As soon as I got out of some of my Apple, I realized, oh my God, I'm short NVIDIA, and I just punched out. It was a little bit of a winner, but small. But anyways, there it goes. Just trying to go higher. This action doesn't lead me to believe there's anything going on right now. So I'm just going to wait, look at Tesla, look at Marvell. I mean, Marvell right here is starting to finally go up. So I like this trade a little bit better. AMD would be the one that if I'm ever thinking short, I don't really care what AMD is doing versus NVIDIA today or anything like that. But if I'm ever thinking short in the chip space, like if there's a headline that comes out, something about China, obviously that will be affecting NVIDIA probably more than AMD. But if it's a general broad-based look on chips, I'm always going to go to AMD for the short and NVIDIA to the long. So today, looked like a long day as NVIDIA was cruising higher. Then we get that chip news and with Microsoft, and it kind of affected everything. I mean, AMD went from 219 down to 211. That's a pretty aggressive move there, right? I mean, I don't think you had that. You had, what, $3 maybe at most in NVIDIA. NVIDIA goes, well, I guess the very top, let's just say it was right here, 184 down to 179. So I guess probably percentage-wise, they're very, very similar on the move. But I prefer shorting AMD rather than NVIDIA, and today that would have been wrong. All right, just waiting on this Marvell to see if anything happens. We are at 20% of it, but we're going to go back over a couple more names, and then we'll get to some questions, and we'll talk about some more setups that we're looking for here this afternoon.
Rich Tech Robotics, another robotics names, guys, up about 14 3/4 here, right back into that high day at 14.10. Look, it's another robotics name, obviously, because a report came out from Politico that the Trump administration is looking at an EO, an executive order for robotics early next year. Just to give you some information here on Rich Tech, it has a float about 103 million shares, and as of September 30th, so a little while ago, it had a short float of 23.7%, guys, trading near the high of the day.
Yeah, I feel like, okay, so obviously there's no other story to go with here because you guys already know the story, so I don't really have to go over it a second time. But remember, so here's an example. When I say diddling in the middle, don't diddle in the middle. I was about to make but if you do, make sure you're protected with a stop order or whatever protection you might need if you're going to diddle in the middle. Stop orders when you're trading. I think this is almost a perfect example of it. So that's all I'm going to say. Like, I'm moved over to iRobot for the obvious reasons of a double short float and just being stronger. But RR, it pulled back in right to prior support levels and double bottomed twice and V-shaped it. So trying to play off of, I was looking a lot at VWAP in here. I like VWAP, and it worked the first time. And I maybe could have left it at that. But it wasn't really on the higher time frame giving a darn about the volume weighted average price. It was caring about where the resistance was the last 4 days. And now you get a nice clean breakout. On the daily chart, this looks great on the daily. So I would tell you, like, I'm sure anybody that's if you've been involved in this stock, I would hope you've noticed, because I'm not involved in stocks, so I haven't. Look at the 200 period moving average on this stock. How many small cap 23% short float names have this much obvious support at the 200 period moving average, where you could just blindly buy it off that line on the chart for the last year and you've just won? Win, 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 win. Every single bounce off the 200 period moving average has won. So congratulations if you've been paying attention to that. I like it for, like stocks I'm in. Again, I'm not in this one, but I think you can get to the 50. I think iRobot's leading the way because of the short float, but they're not bad either. And when I say the 50, I mean $4.50, not $50. That's a 50 period SMA on the daily. That's this line on the chart.
Okay, yeah, we will. We'll go over. Hey, Patrick, I see you in the chat. We're going to go over a bunch of names very shortly. We're just right now reviewing what was voted on there. What's been voting on right now? It's been the money right here, Marvell. Right now, we just got, so we got a 30 again as it came back in, and I was like, oh my God, this is going to break lower. And then we just got a 45 there for Marvell. So update. I'm out of 60% right now. So we only have 40% left, as we'll wait to see what happens now with Marvell on the upside. We're trying to play with house money, which we're almost doing right now. So good job there for Marvell. Remember where our out was going to be the 50 period moving average. Well, guess what? That has now moved hella up. So our first stop was at 50. Let's change that right now. And I just hope that, just from education, we always get asked questions. We're going to be dropping the Trader TV Live Academy as well soon. But like, we always get questions about our positioning, our stops, and things like that. And so I think I explained this trade very, very well. So hopefully you guys joined us earlier on. And then there it goes now, going back up there to the upside. And 99 break, we're in 50 cents there. Our stop was always going to be the 50 period moving average. It's coming into VWAP right now. So we might as well just, VWAP won't be as, so it's 98.89. Wow, okay, we are really starting to moon right now. Yes, we just get that fill right there at 60s, man. That is a yahoo kind of a trade right there. Here it is, man. We just gave this to you, 70 cents. As right now, wow, 60 cents, hopefully it gets to 70. Right now, Marvell leading the way. All right, I said 90. Let's just go, Let's be exact here. I mean, I don't want, whatever. I don't want to get wicked out if it comes back in. It doesn't really matter. All right, 98.89. All right, we'll just keep it there. Now we are officially playing with house money. We are out of 50%. So there it goes, man. Boom. So a couple good trades today. We don't have any red trades today. We're going to go with Apple this morning, which was the big one for me. This has held my whole day. Just basically four trades, all at 287, all to the upside. Good job there, and then got out once it broke. You guys all saw me do that, and we talked much about that one. Then we have Fannie Mae, and we just traded that real quick early. We saw that. So I don't know, this movement happened, hits the scanners. Remember, we have this trade rate scanner there as well, so we'll talk about that in a couple minutes. But there goes Fannie Mae straight. And yesterday we were 3 for 3, right? We did the trade review, and I don't have a problem. We can do this every day if you guys want to. There it is right there on Fannie Mae. Then the only other trade today is Marvell, which is this one. So we'll go threes today, another 3-pack. Right there today. And yeah, now we are officially trading with house money. So let's put an offer at 99.75. We'll go to 74. We'll see if we can get that fill. That offer's now in, so 5 cents away from that. Out every quarter, and then we'll wind up seeing what happens into $100. And then hopefully that breaks, and then we'll get going there. So far, so good there today. And you're into iRobot. I'm into Marvell. And yeah, the day is, there it goes again. So awesome. Awesome. We just get that Marvell fill right there. 65 cents now in the money and potentially going higher. So there goes Marvell, hopefully proving our worth every single day. All right, Adara, what you got?
I have some headlines for a couple different companies, actually, all of which are watched pretty closely. I'll start with Robinhood because it's on my screen right now. Seeing reports that the Connecticut Department of Consumer Protection has sent cease and desist letters to Robinhood, Kalshi, and Crypto.com, basically saying that they're conducting illegal gambling in violation of Connecticut law. So Hood on watch here, and it did get a little bit of a spike down, as you can see, though it's recovered from that weakness. Keep an eye on Apple and Meta as well. Seeing reports that Apple's top design executive, Alan Dye, is leaving the company to work at META. Make sure to like and subscribe as we send you back to Sean and Neil.
Well, I can't remember a headline where somebody leaving Apple recently has ended up being bad for them. So until that actually happens, I wouldn't be terribly worried about it overall. And we'll get to Robinhood in a quick little second here. And I know that Kit is a stock that people are paying attention to. Great ticker, obviously, if you're a Knight Rider fan. But I forget who I was just having a chat with in said chat. By the way, if you want to ask questions in the chat or just converse with a great community, make sure you hit the like and the subscribe, specifically subscribe, because it's a subs only chat. So here is when I said if it breaks trend, this is iRobot since the breakout, like this one at 11 a.m. It's got a pretty clean trend line, which also happens to then line up with prior resistance. It helps. So as long as it dips in front of that, when buy dips into it, if it holds VWAP, that's a different story, and then play into the high of the day. So if it gets to 350, great, I'll be out. But as long as it holds onto that trend line, I like it. Now, Robinhood was the subject of, I said I'd go to Kit, but we didn't really bring up the chart of Robinhood when Adara brought that story. Didn't really affect it. Like, Robinhood's holding trend. I'd be a little concerned if it, like, after that news closed breaking the trend line, then maybe you'd think pull back into VWAP. But it hasn't done it, so I wouldn't be too worried about it yet. But this is a small CAPR that's going, what is the actual name here? Nauticus Robotics. So notice the last part of that name? Robotics. So like our good friend iRobot, up a ton, 77%. I do not know the specific short float here, and I don't know exactly what this company does because I'm not really familiar with it, but it's got robotics in the name. So it's a pretty safe guess. You know what's happening. But the bigger and more important thing is it's breaking $1. Breaking above $1 is always a key psychological price for penny stock, and it's only half the story. Closing above $1 is the big deal. So you close above the dollar multiple times, and it starts every day that you close above $1 gets a little bit more momentum because you got to do like 10 days in a row to maintain compliance. So far, so good for this stock. Volume's good, not great, 90 million or so. I'd put it in like good, but sometimes you like these to already be over 100 million, ideally, and it's actually holding up. So good volume as it breaks out the high of the day. The robotic story is obviously a big one. No questions asked here today. But again, I don't know specifically what they do. It's the first I've heard of this company. But given the name Kit and the fact that robotics is in the name, and it's a pretty safe bet that they're not just fugazi and making up that they're in the space.
David Hasselhoff backed stock over there. We're now out of, okay, here we go. Hopefully Marvell does keep going upside right now, and it's almost that dollar club right here. We just put it on for you, but I'm getting out more and more as we get up to this upside, because I don't know what it's going to do at $100. So I have one last fill out at 99.96. So we're getting pretty close to that. Just one more little move up there. If some of you guys just buy this stock, no, it's not going to do anything. But 41 million shares today. We're sitting at 99.96 right now, and being as clear as day, right? I mean, this is all for free. So make sure you do hit that like and that subscribe as we talk about these trade ideas and thoughts on technical analysis or whatever you guys want. But there it is. This is real. Like, these are real trades put on here by Neil and myself, and making hopefully money for you guys as well out there. All right, Adara has her ear to the ground for the news. So what's up, Adara?
I looked at Nauticus Robotics, and for one, Neil, I know you have heard of this name before, because I remember once it popped off during the midday, and you made the Knight Rider reference, and I was the only one who got it. So I do remember that you've definitely heard this ticker, KITT, and they actually have a catalyst that's not the overall robotics catalyst. They have their own catalyst, guys. So 22 hours ago, so that'd be roughly like right after the close yesterday, they made an announcement. The shareholders have approved their preferred stock conversion, but the shareholders did not approve a share increase. So some shareholder updates there for KITT. They actually have their own piece of news. I had to Google it. It was not on Benzinga. Back to you guys.
Boom. See now, I just put it into my news source and I saw nothing. So I just assumed it had to be a.
Adair would also realize and know that I wasn't here when you made that reference. Because,
well, of course you would.
I knew you would have made it. That's why I specifically said during the midday. You were definitely at the gym.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I was gonna say. Like kind
of a big show.
Yeah, I definitely. That's why I just made it now. And then so you obviously you go. I'm a little disappointed at Joe and Sharif, to be honest with you, with not knowing that show, especially Sharif. He's old.
Well, yeah, Joe, I give a pass. I mean,
yeah, Joe, you get a pass. Joe's only slightly old, you know. Yeah, good one there, Kit. Oh, so the thing I want to talk about in that space, and it's just a matter of just giving this to everybody, because it is the ETF that I'm in for robotics. Like, I'm in none of these names other than that. So this one right here, and I actually did a little bit of due diligence by checking out, although now I've closed it. Oh, here it is right here. The portfolio of this ARKQ. So I asked it, ChatGPT, or Gemini actually. I've switched. I basically just use Gemini now. So there it is. These are the top 10 holdings of ARKQ. The problem is like, you know, you do pay a management fee. It's probably 0.85 or so, like probably, hopefully less than 1 pip. I'll have to double check what it is, but we'll see. But anyways, Tesla there, 12.5%. So I said that Tesla was relatively under-owned in my portfolio, so we get a little bit more there. Teradyne, Kratos, Palantir on this news, like that was one of the undercover names there today, because we didn't really talk about Palantir right off the jump when we heard that robotics story there, and they didn't care about it at all either until obviously someone had looked into this and thought maybe, okay, with drones, and not just that, like a lot of this stuff that's happening right now with robotics, obviously it needs some input, right? And so if Palantir there is that foundry and is that input, so we'll they analyze the input and put that into said robots like drones or whatever else is being talked about there, as Palantir has many commercial now uses as well. Okay, yeah, KTOS. I got to figure out more about that.
What is KTOS?
But yeah, there's Deere in there
look
as well.
Out, there is the wow. Look at
Deere's a kind of a robot.
Look what just happened when the trend broke.
Oh no, you were in it.
But that's why this is exactly how I use trend lines.
Yep.
The reason why this in theory works, well, it's all in theory. The reason why it's in theory is because that's a place that short sellers like myself oftentimes will punch short when that happens. So that's why I was showing you guys like this. My reason is to dip into here to play into the high. I only took one out when it got to 40, and I would have taken it out at 50, and then you had that break. But you've got to have a stop order, because when the momentum comes out, and that's what a trend line effectively is. It's not a line of best fit, but it's like a support line for the momentum is the best way to think about it. So it's not like an actual price, but it's just this moving. And whenever I see support turning into resistance like that, especially on a trend line, it was a clean breakout at that price as well, then you know the floodgates could open up. So really tight stop. I actually got 1 cent underneath the trend line, so there was pretty much no slippage at all actually on that trade, which is surprising. We're going to go to Dara, but there's, dude, speaking of support lines and support to resistance, when we get back, I have to show you one on Bitcoin, which I forgot to this morning. Because of all the news that hit in the pre-market, we actually never went over crypto at any point today. Let's go to Adara.
This part of the show is brought to you by our friends over at Beta Pro by GlobalX Canada, because we have some exciting news out of Canada for the sophisticated traders on our stream. Beta Pro by GlobalX Canada, which happens to be Canada's largest provider of leveraged inverse and inverse leveraged ETFs, they've just launched 6 new triple leveraged ETFs, which offer 3 times bull and 3 times bear exposure to the S&P TSX 60, semiconductors, and even U.S. Treasuries. But even better, they're offering a special fee rebate, which drops management fees to just 65 basis points until December 31st, 2025. Additionally, the U.S.-focused strategies use currency hedging, which offers the potential for pure performance and exposure. So if you are a tactical, sophisticated trader who's looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca/3xdaily to learn more. Back to you.
So this was the chart I wanted to pull up. I usually, every time we talk about crypto, or Bitcoin, Bitcoin, this is one of the things I'll usually go over. And you can see when I started this trend line on Bitcoin, it was all the way back into 2023, and then it's held pretty well. Now you can have wicks that break a trend line, but there hasn't been a consolidation under the trend line until now, like this break. And all of a sudden, that same trend line is now turned into resistance. It bounced and has rejected the top of the prior trend line twice, which is very similar to what I was just showing you guys there on iRobot. So like, you know, it turns from one side to the other. So I think until we break out the top, like I'm still of the mind that the overall, like ever since we broke down here at 108, I've been of the mind that we've been headed down to 73, 75. So like I've kind of felt that way. Like nothing has changed my mind unless if you break back above that trend line or start holding above 93 again, that could possibly convince me. But you know, the structure of how this broke down, I still kind of feel like it hasn't done anything distinct that would tell me we're still not in this little bit of a downward trend. But breaking back and holding above this little trend line that anybody could draw, just go all the way back to October 2023, connected with the pullback off the high at 74, and then the dip when we made the high at 110, and we just recently broke that. So that's one thing I'm looking at technically for Bitcoin, just to convince me that I'm still not waiting for a buy at 75. That could cause me to want to buy up here in the 90s, but not yet. Not yet at all. I see people saying Tesla, and by people I mean you, David. The last person in the chat just said Tesla, and I looked to see if we're breaking higher. We're not. We're still kind of sideways on Tesla here, off of no test of 450. We're just sideways off this 445, 446 area. It's trying to go, but just not finding a lot of juice. What is going a little bit, and Jameson's mentioning IonQ in the chat, I was going to say Bitcoin just broke back above 93,000. Yeah, there's IonQ. It's trying to go. But I don't know what the story might be for IonQ. SMR was a lot stronger today. I think that's one place to go in terms of looking for like small cappers that are running, whether it's the nuclear or the quantum. I think sometimes they kind of run in the space together just because they're all squeeze plays. But flat on the session here for IonQ, it's IBIT. I still have eyeballs on iRobot because I feel like it just held VWAP, so there might be a chance it could go again. But IBIT starting to bounce. And what's interesting about this is it's failed at 53 on IBIT specifically. That's not going to be, you know, it's a kind of a randomish price if you try to go over it at Bitcoin itself. But it's failed a couple times through this price. I feel like if we're able to make this breakout in the afternoon, you could have, I'm not just talking about IBIT, this is a NASDAQ as well. Like you have where we were when Microsoft happened, and we're right back, complete V-shaped recovery. Now, Bitcoin was looking pretty solid on a gap up and potential breakouts this morning, and then that same thing happened. So I think if this can do a little catch up, break away from that 53, it gets at least a little bit more interesting to me. None of that's going to happen if NVIDIA can't catch a bid, though. That'll be a bit of a problem. Oh, Jomo Trader. Say less. Jomo Trader in the chat. Walmart just keeps going up, up, up. You better believe it. I remember at the beginning of the year, oh, Walmart Walmart's expensive. Walmart's blah, 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 blah. It is expensive, 100%. Walmart is not a cheap stock on a PE basis. I understand it, but it's also really, really good. They make a lot of money, and it's respecting the 200-period moving average. So regardless of when you decided to buy it off the 200-period moving average, whether it was a little bit too early, my hand is up, didn't matter, ends up working anyways, or later on, this is just a stock that is winning. It's just chilling out. And Hangry Wife saying Walmart is up 6,000% since IPO, it's not expensive. When I say expensive, apologies. I simply just mean on a PE basis relative to peers, it's considered an expensive stock on a PE basis. So that's generally what I mean by expensive. I own it, and I'm constantly buying dips. Wish I had bought a dip more than once this year, but it really never, I got anchored to the price I bought it at. That's the best I can put. You know, you buy something, sometimes that'll happen to you. Like you buy something at a really good price, and then all of a sudden you keep thinking you're gonna get it again. When I should have just stuck to buy it in front of the 200-period moving average, because that's a win. Adara?
I want to talk about this pop in nuclear because SMR is frequently making or continuing to make here new highs. Sounds like it has to do with comments made by NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang on the Joe Rogan podcast, where he did in fact appear. People are circulating here on X that Jensen Huang said that he's expecting a bunch of small nuclear reactors, hundreds of megawatts each, to come online in the next 6 to 7 years in order to power these AI data centers. So again, names like SMR on my screen here, NNE, et cetera, getting a pop after Jensen Huang makes some bullish comments on nuclear on the Joe Rogan podcast. Back to you.
Jensen Huang, always moving markets. Deep tranquility, just to answer your question. I'll do this from now on. So I wasn't talking about the 50-period SMA and the 200-period SMA. On a daily chart, those are the only things I have on a daily chart. And on an intraday chart, the only thing I'll have, I don't even have, like I don't have VWAP on a 15-minute chart. I don't bother with it. Like my 15-minute chart's completely clean, and it'll just have volume at the bottom. My daily charts only have the 50-period SMA and the 200-period SMA, and then my intraday chart will have VWAP, and of course always volume at the bottom. I just feel I think volume is really important because like you get a really big up day or it could be down day two, and you want to see what was the relative volume in that move. Like did it float up on low volume? Right, that can make it easier to fill the gap. So just little things like that. So I think volume is going to be important, and those are simple moving averages. When I said SMA, simple moving average, just to be completely clear. I know some people like exponentials. I don't know if anyone here uses an exponential. I don't think so. But I don't want to speak for anybody else. You don't. I don't know. No. But I don't know about Joe or actually I think Obi might, if anybody does.
Obi maybe.
Oh, exponential, because I think lots of day traders will use them. But I use moving averages on the daily chart, where like in most of the time I'm using it for like stuff in my long-term account or like a swing. So I like the simple moving average because I just find that most of the stocks tend to respect that 200 SMA a little better. But it's me.
Yeah, Joe Rogan show used to push an agenda, really. Yeah, I don't even watch the show. I know that to be true. Okay, look at Marvell here, 90. So people are asking me about where my stop is. This is already cruising, man. This is already the trade. It's going to be, it'll be P&L 3. I've only made 3 trades today. This will be my least one, and it just wasn't as many shares as the rest. And I'll show you my Fannie Mae and my Apple trade. But here it comes right back up. I'm sitting at 96. We talked about that before. I took one out here at 62 and another out again at 75. And now we'll wait to see if it does break up. I did have some talk in the chat about where my out is. Well, now look, man. At first, when we made this trade, our out was 98.50, which is why we started taking 50 cents first, right, to play with house money. Now it's done. This trade is done, and it is a bullish one, and one that definitely added today. I added about 20% to my overall net today, just on this trade alone, so it's not bad. And we'll see what happens there. 99.93, we just stopped on again. All right, I'll put an offer in the 80s again for this and see if we get something there. I'm at 84 right now. We'll see if we can grab a fill there. As the reason why I'm trying to get out near $100, and there's some people in the chat that have this long from way down here, which is fantastic. But it's just we're starting to think about that $100 mark now, and I just don't know if there's going to be enough. It's only 3 o'clock now, so we're entering the hour of power in 45 seconds, but this market also helped going here, and the market's really, you know, kind of respected, although there's going to be dip downs, which were supported by VWAP, but this is, again, a 50-period moving average, as Neil had mentioned there, SMA, so, you know, we'll continue to watch that. My VWAP is colored blue, my 50-period is colored pink. So we'll see now. Again, I'm getting a little bit nervous that we might have missed something there. Okay. Well, there he goes. We just offer 69s and grab that. We actually got 68.50s there, but we must have offered 68. So there it is. We'll take another piece out just so everybody now knows we are at exactly 20% left of this trade and looking to stop out. I'm not going to change my stop where it was last time, 99.30s. This is, you know what, let's just change it one more time. 99.40s to get out, so we'll lock in 30 cents. 99.39s, we'll try to lock that in. I don't think there'll be too much slippage. The liquidity looks pretty good over here. And again, Marvell, as we continue to go higher. SMR, I mean, I hear Adara talking about it. I guess Neil just looked at me and said maybe, or talked to me and said Trump might not be going on today. I did hear as well. I thought it was Kevin Hassett news at 2 p.m., but we're not hearing anything. Obviously, we've got Adara back there, so we don't have to. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I don't have anything here. I mean, the stream is open, but he is not present. Though Trump being like 30 minutes late is kind of par for the course, if I'm being really honest here. I would not be too concerned as of yet. If I hear updates or see updates, I will let you know. It's not supposed to be Kevin Hassett related. We're expecting it to be related to like the fuel economy situation. Okay. So there have been a lot of reports suggesting that a lot of different people from different sides of the market are trying to plead with the Treasury Department and Trump to not pick Hassett for the Fed chair.
I saw someone
not pick.
I'm not gonna. Actually, you know what? I am gonna name names. It was Zero Hedge. Whatever. I was gonna be like, it doesn't matter who was saying this, but it had some kind of an article, and I didn't read it, so
means even less if he's saying it.
It was the headline was bond markets trying to tell the president not to pick Hassett specifically, and I think it's been interesting because there have been. What's the best way to say this? Seemingly timely wise, seemingly influential moves at specific times in the bond market in reaction that it's almost as like, okay, well, we're going to influence the bond markets because we want something to happen or not to happen. And the only reason I say that is because like there won't necessarily be follow through after. It'll just be like timed to like some pressure on the Fed, and then the bond market goes crazy, and then there's no follow through, and then the same thing, and like rinse and repeat. So it's almost like this battle of money that's going on in like the world's largest market. Like bond markets are just make the equity markets look like child's play.
Yeah. The amount of money that's in there.
And the idea that it's reacting to, you know, the president's like, oh, we're going to make the pick, and then the bond markets are going to go absolutely crazy, but there's no follow through after that when the odds stay up at 80% that it's going to be Hassett.
I know, it's weird.
Well, obviously you're not that spooked. It's like a one-time, anyways. So I never want to overreact to these little subtle moves not subtle, but these moves in the bond market unless there's follow through. But overall, like I get it. Trust me. Like you don't want to ignore I'm not saying ignore the bond market, but yeah. Look, I'm not judging Zero Hedge. I will simply say this: like I've been trading a very long time, and I really when I started trading, like when they first started out, I just prefer a heck of a lot more then, and I find it just got a little, I don't know the best way to say it. I found it was a much clearer source of discourse on Zero Hedge, at least for the trading community. And now it's just a lot more political, back and forth, and more gotcha headline kind of stuff, which I suppose is just the way media goes these days. You can't blame anybody because that's how you get clicks. So it's hard to hate if your business is getting clicks, and that's how you're going to go to. But I used to love it. I still follow them on X. It's not the same as it used to be, in my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I don't have enough. I don't follow. I mean, I probably do follow, but I don't peruse Twitter or anything. I honestly don't have. I know you're on the train a lot. I don't have time to really look too much at
Who
Twitter.
does that to you, man?
Yeah.
I read a lot.
Good. I wish I kind of did have a little bit more time, but I guess I do. It's just when I'm at my kids' events, like I watch what they're doing, so it's tough. Although yesterday swimming was a little boring yesterday, but my guy's at level 10. He's actually almost qualified for his lifeguard. He wants to be
nice. I hope Aaron. I'm
by
hoping
far
Aaron
the
does
best
that.
job in the world.
I really hope Aaron does that.
Yeah, so
Because I think it's an incredibly valuable skill to have, especially for your family when you eventually have one. Right, like just CPR.
oh yeah, I mean I'm CPR certified. I know.
It's a great skill to have, in my opinion. Discipline and all that. And anyways, that's
Yeah. My I don't know a more disciplined kid than my daughter, to be honest with you. I'm talking about my son though with the swimming. But okay, so Palantir, look, we got out yesterday at 175, a little piece of what we had left because we were like excited that it came up to 175 and it just came right back. And yesterday we touched out at 175 and then fell. So we actually just got out at 175, literally exactly that price yesterday. I didn't care about the price, so we just get out at that even dollar level. And then right now, today, we're trying to go back up. I just want to bring to everybody's attention that that most recent high there on Palantir, that's coming into play again. So that was just from yesterday. So if you're looking for a spot, if you are long Palantir and you had a great run today and love the stock, and this has been probably the biggest wealth generator of the last 3 or 4 years for myself, has been the Palantir stock, because I've been holding Google for 15 years and Apple for even more, probably all those even more, NVIDIA as well. So it's this right here has been awesome, and I just got a little nervous. So I'm starting to get a little bit more out on Palantir as we approach some of these levels again. I still want to be able to hold the majority of the position as we break back out, but Palantir is working out quite nicely right now. And then the other name that we didn't talk too much about today, this morning, I mean, I did mention it. It's one of the 4 names that are here. If you guys are looking for some resources at Trader TV Sean, you go find it. Apple long, the #1 P&L name today. Uber long, Intel long, Tesla long. They're all absolutely monstrous, and that was all written down before any of this move. I think if I wrote it down when I heard that Microsoft news, I probably would have found some shorts on that sticky note. But Uber is one of those hidden names that's a robotics play. It's just that story today was that they're involved with Nebius, so there you go. AI play there, and there, what's it called, Aviride, a program that's launching in Dallas right now that is going to, you're gonna, if you use Uber, there's gonna be a possibility that you do get a autonomous vehicle coming through to pick you up, and that's with Nebius and Uber today, so they teamed up to do that. Launching in Dallas. So if anybody's in Dallas and happens to get on a ride, send us a video or something like that. For right now, they're manned though, and soon to be unmanned as that all changes.
They had Abu Dhabi launch as
yeah, and they've got that. I think Austin.
That's with Waymo though.
Yeah, so this was a new one. This was like a new sort of hidden thing, and I only bought more Uber because I just thought this was like way overdone to the downside. So we're able to get some basically right here at 84 and change. And I would have loved to have waited for 82 if I knew that was going to happen. But that looks like a pretty good bottom right there. So when this fell into the 200 period, and I noticed it the day it cracked down through this, so I bought it the very next day, and so that's where that green candle was. Thought maybe we had bought some highs, but it turns out that we did not. And there it goes right back there to the upside. So I do like Uber to get back to $100. I'm not going to be crazy and call this back to 100 next week, but give it a month, maybe the new year. By the time December 31st hits, I expect Uber to be up in and around this area as the momentum in the space continues to get going. And again, the robotics story, right? I think Uber can win on that. Not only that, it's the Uber Eats, it's everything all combined. All right.
I'm sad we missed Johnny Cab.
Johnny Cab, what is that from?
That's from Total Recall.
Oh, Total Recall.
They should have known that. Why would you actually have a fake,
Marvel.
like a fake dude sitting in the car? Go for Marvell, guy. I want to talk.
No, I just, it's up to $100. So there's the fill right there, $1 right there on Marvell. As that a trade that we put on, Neil. I think we've only had 2 trades. You discussed your iRobot, and that's out of that. And then now here goes Marvell. So we're still looking for some more names. And I actually said,
well, Marvell was an all-day trend break earlier this.
I mean, Marvell was. I love Marvell. Was
the
great.
I've only traded 3 names.
Oh, and then hold on. Go throw it to you a second. I just want to see what's okay. I just want to call this up before we go over to Neil because I wanted to make sure that if Tesla does break, we're on it, but it retraced off of 448 there. So I'm looking for 450.
So I was going to say, like, Marvell was in, and I actually missed this trade because I misdrew the line, the trend trade, which is a foolish mistake on my part. Like, I drew a trend line from the all day, like this. Like, see this line. I'm going to get rid of this one, the one that I should have taken, and draw the line that I used for a long in Marvell. And what's weird, I got out of the trade maybe a little early, but here's the reason why I don't think that was the correct trend line to use was what was the big event? Like I should be keyed, like if I'm going to key this, I should either be doing that, and then I would be taking this long, or I should be looking at it when it breaks from the open and holds 96. Like that's, it's either that long or that long that are better. And this one in here was kind of muddled, and the price action was muddled as well. But like the big event, like clearly on this was either the opening tail or when it lost that VWAP. But Marvell, 7.5% looking fantastic. It's Lucid that I just paid for locates on though. Why? 'Cause at this time of day, like one of the things I like to look for is giving me a trend break. I know I didn't take a trend break on iRobot, but at least it got me out of the trade. Well, Lucid is holding a trend from VWAP, and it matters. Look at the consolidation, look at the break. It's held it very cleanly. So any break of that trend line with only 50 minutes to go till the end of the day, this is one I'll be looking at. And yeah, we don't have free locates on this, but here at Real Trading, you can usually get everything. Remember when Lucid reverse split? I don't have to tell you what happened after the fact. I think we all know by now what happened. To Lucid's credit, though, it did break out. Like Lucid legitimately broke out for about 20% post-split, and now has failed. So what's crazy about
What is the
this?
price? Oh, 14, yeah.
Yeah, so it went all the way to like 25 bucks and now back at 13. The hedge funds that short this kind of stuff, they actually probably want this breakout to happen. Because to them, they're just like, oh, this is even better. Like, why just short it after the reverse split? Now we can short it in the 20s instead of in the teens. You know they load into it, and then eventually when it breaks down, it just doesn't stop. Like when the uptrend stopped, it's just a short till it's not. And there's overhead resistance at 14 bucks here that you can see on the daily chart. That's the other thing going on. But yeah, for this one breaks trend, I'm going to jump into this one at some point. Keep throwing names in the chat because there's not a heck of a lot that is moving. The futures are literally at the high of the day and trying to go. And if NVIDIA continues to hold under VWAP and Tesla stops moving, it's hard to imagine anything that's like what's going to push it through the top because nothing big in the index is actually pressing right now.
Here we go, exactly. So what's up, Yannick? This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is why I was saying Uber is like a little bit of an undercover play there. They have Uber Freight. I was really impressed. I talked about it 2 years ago. I was in London. I took the Uber boats everywhere there. I thought that was awesome. Really simple, easy to do on the app. So not only is it like an AI, a tech play, but hopefully something to do with robotics as well. So there we go, like DoorDash, Uber Eats and all that. And DoorDash, don't they even have those like little automatic push carts that go around the city and deliver up some food? So, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Watch out for those. Yeah, I don't know who's in trouble or not, man. Like,
Instacart's been getting hurt by, well,
it's a market
Walmart's
share thing, right?
It's too easy.
NASDAQ, this is the thing, is like we are so infiltrated by all these options every day. Like, what are you going to use? Skip the dishes, Instacart, DoorDash, Uber Eats. I feel like once you find one and maybe you subscribe, like Uber Eats, I think it's $10 a month or, you know.
Uber One's been, I saved a bunch of money with Uber One. I know
Uber One, that's what it is.
People have been complaining about Uber One and canceling it, but I don't know, man. I save a bunch of money.
Yeah, so I was just going to say Uber One, like, you know how Amazon Prime had that issue, oh, we can't cancel it, and they had the suit? I legit think that's going to happen to Uber because I've talked about this before. I had that where I literally accidentally signed up for Uber One. I don't know how to unsubscribe. People in the chat were saying they've also experienced this, and I've talked to other people. Andre's raising his hand. I know he's had this issue as well. So, like, the point I'm trying to make is they could have an Amazon Prime problem. Just a quick food for thought moment from me.
Maybe I should try to unsubscribe just to see what happens.
So I've
because I use
maybe it's me. Like I've
works fine for me.
I've subscribed and then unsubscribed.
So you've had no problem.
Yeah, because I didn't want it for a while. Like my yearly membership renewed. You know, and I was like, nah, we're not ordering Uber Eats anymore, as much anymore. So I was like, I don't really need the Uber One. And then so I was able. They have a live chat. Like I think if you go right into the chat right now, it's automatic, man. And I think I paid on PayPal. It came back literally in 2 minutes, the $89 or whatever it was. But there it is. There's Marvell. Finally enters the club. There you go, man. I don't know how many shares everybody took, if you took it at all. But Marvell today, nice move, up 8% now. And there it goes, man. Nice cook right there to the upside for Marvell. The only trade I took this afternoon, matching with the Apple trades earlier. Wow, we talked about like make sure you get out and don't try to be too stubborn with your trades. Boom, look at Apple, man, all the way down in there as they lost somebody today to another AI situation. I still.
I don't think that's the reason.
No, I still not. Neither do I. I still really love Apple. There it is, right there, $1 up for Marvell. So it was Apple, Marvell, and then Fannie Mae, and the story with them. And I just hit this basically too late. We have these scanners here. They're Hotlist scanners, and they're by eSignal, so you can go grab that. We actually in our description we have a link to a free month for eSignal, and we all use it here on the show. And it was just all of a sudden Fannie Mae came to the top of this thing, and I was just like, okay, and went over to it and saw this huge move, and I didn't even know the story. It was just going, and then once it broke 11 is when I sort of tried to get involved, and because it's over there on the OTC market, sometimes liquidity is tough to find. Like, you gotta hit different gateways and you gotta do different things to get that liquidity. So at the end of the day, it was a great trade. I finally got able to get long around 11.10, and that move went up to 11.40 and somehow top ticked it. And then it came back in, and then that was what it was near the end. So yeah, really good trade for me there on Fannie Mae. And so that's the Apple trade, was just buying those dips as we wrote down early. We wanted to buy the dip into VWAP. It worked out 4 times. That was really good. And then Marvell was the only other trade that I had today. So 3 trades, and there goes Marvell right now, going even higher. So yeah, man, we'll be there today. Again, it's 3 straight green days, and all pretty good so far. We have to talk about, I wanted to show you guys some of those names. Like, we had OKTA yesterday report. We had CrowdStrike report as well. So OKTA up 5%, and still going higher there, as this is the ID security place there. Word I'm looking for, I can't think of it. Oh wow, Marvell is now at $100.40 right now. So we're gonna punch out. We just punch out more of Marvell, as there it goes right there to the upside. But that's OKTA up nicely today as well. So that was a good report for them, up 5.5% there as well. So good job there. I like, hey, the Jameson. Yo, keep, there it is, this guy, what do you know about this? I mentioned this a couple times on the show. Samsara is my hidden play. I really like Samsara. I haven't looked at it today, but I have been buying this name. I'm long at $37. Let me see what IoT is doing today. If this is down to like 27, let's have a quick look. Okay, so it's not doing too much. I've just recently been buying this name, so I like Internet of Things. I think this is another good opportunity there for the robotics play again, and just transportation. That's what they're doing. So transportation of trucks and whatnot, and getting into that business for robotics. But Samsara, nice move there as well. So yeah, man, just really, really, I keep saying the word proud and everything like that, but I'm just happy that, like, showing you guys and explaining to you trades that work like this. And we've been like, I'm not sure we have a losing, I think we had 1 or 2 losing stocks there on Monday, but it's just about like things working out, being patient, and then just really trying to use the right share size. I mean, I think that's something that's also important, that forces you not to punch out right away if you're wrong or anything like that, just for me. And we always talked about how disciplined we were on this trade. It was the 50-period break was where we were gonna get out. So that was about a 40-cent or so gamble that we took on this trade, and for it to be up now $1.25 is pretty good. And we're going to change that stop now again, because we still have 10% left, which is still decent. 99.75 now, so we'll just keep on upping our stops. I'll just go to 99. Let's just go to 99.89. Eventually, by the time this comes into play, I can't just. I don't want to just keep adjusting it every time, but if that breaks that back down below 100, I think we can get out of it. But so far, so good here on that. And then BTC, I think, is going to be a next big talk. Maybe not today, but over the next couple of days. Because Bitcoin approaching that 100,000 is going to be interesting. 93,000 right now.
If it can push through, it really, really needs to push through.
Yeah.
The trend line. There was a good question in the chat. I wanted to throw it up there.
There always is.
Mohammed, but you know what? I'm just going to do it this way. We have a good suggestion, make this more efficient and easier for us to be able to throw these up. And I don't want to lose it because Mohammed asked, what are the benefits of joining this channel? So if you, first of all, it's a fantastic community, right? Where everyone's out here to learn, to get better at trading, investing, whatever it might be. And it's, I think, the best community out there. It's the only trading show anywhere like this. You get live news, like everything about it is fantastic. Now, if you're a subscriber, you get to be in the chat, ask questions, and participate in that community. However, if you get a membership, then you do get this morning note every single day. So this is today's. I can tell you there's Marvell, and obviously Marvell reported earnings, so there you go. There's an in-depth report on those earnings, some price levels. CrowdStrike, which we didn't talk too much about, but you know what? You're covered if you have this note because it gives the entire rundown there. It is, how many pages long is this thing today? It doesn't matter. It was like 13 yesterday. Who cares? It's usually double digits. American Eagle was an earnings play. OKTA, what's going to be on there tomorrow? I think we all know this. We got Snowflake reporting. They should be on there. C3AI is going to report. They'll be on that list as well. CRM as well. So I think that's one of the benefits. There's many benefits, I think, of the channel. But of course, if you are signing up for membership, then that's directly what you get every single day. What's up? Thank you for the super chat, Boba. What's up with the trade desk? What up? You tell me what's up with the trade desk. I haven't pulled it up today, but I can right now.
We just got a $250 super chat in the form of exactly
big
that.
time membership.
There's those memberships. We want to thank OLCAN right there. So now everybody's going to get that. And I do want to tell you that note does not come into your inbox every single day. It's only every day that Sharif is in.
That's almost every day.
So we got to watch out for that. But there it is. So you got to go into YouTube and you have to enable receive gifts. So just ask Gemini how to do that if you are unclear on that. But yeah, YouTube right there and Gemini. And thank you to Olcan for 50 super chats. Like at $5 a pop, man, that's a $250 super chat. So we want to thank that. And there it is, right? Instead of a super chat, it's going right back to you guys.
Exactly.
So that's the kind of stuff, like that's what we're talking about. We want you guys to enjoy the show. And Neil's going to talk about the trade desk.
Well, all I can say, I mean, they've been losing market share. There isn't a specific story on it today. I mean, but unfortunately, they've been losing market share, and this hasn't been able to do much of anything lately. I think the last time I'm pretty sure the last time we mentioned this stock, I simply said, you can't chase bottoms here. And I don't see what's going to get this to turn around. Like how is this any different from GitLab we were talking about this morning? It's just not. At this point, like you can hope for a light at the end of the tunnel, but this has done nothing but fail every single bounce. And if it doesn't fail the 50, it fails the 200. I think maybe you get a trade if it breaks the 50 period again. But yeah, not looking very good at all for the trade desk. And speaking of, what did GitLab do today? Like made another fresh low. Like that was a big breakdown trade, right off the open, down 13% on their earnings, unfortunately. Yeah, it's just, what are you going to do? Like, trade desks have been getting bled. That's the best way to put it, and almost no end in sight. There was something before the super chat.
There was those 50 super chat. There was those 50. Right there. I did get a little bit more of Marvell. We do have Uber. We do have NVIDIA. Oh, let's go. Let's just go double check Tesla.
There was a spike in Intel, and
was there? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Down with some Intel.
Intel with a bit of a spike. If we come to the chart,
any Intel on that, or?
I don't have the Intel.
Maybe Adara does. We do have to go to Adara. Let's see if it's from her.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything in Intel. I will look into it, but that headline has not popped up for me. I do want to let you guys know, here's the implied moves for some of these names reporting after the bell. For whatever reason, I couldn't find one on UiPath, though they are also reporting. They're going to be at 4:10 a.m., but a lot of these here are going to be double digits or darn close. So lots of exciting post-market moves here. You can find these infographics every day, usually posted around 3:30 p.m., 2:30 p.m. in that vicinity. We're going to send you back to Sean and Neil while I look up Intel.
Thanks, Adara. I see in the chat someone mentioning its hangry wife, but I don't know if I haven't been able to see if this is true. Intel to drop spin-off of networking division. I haven't seen anywhere where I could confirm that, but I mean, it looks like something happened. Intel was good at VWAP, but you know what? Here's the thing. Like Intel, when it broke VWAP here, is the only time I traded it. You know when that was? That was when NVIDIA had that candle wick at $180. And at the same time, what do you think? Look what Microsoft did. You don't think Microsoft was the driver? Like, Microsoft broke trend here. Like, God, man, I got to zoom in. Here we go. So Microsoft breaks the trend from this breakdown, first pop, second pop, boom, there's the open, breaks this trend line right here at 954. That's when Intel took VWAP and didn't look back. That's when a lot of longs started working out. The silver long worked out at that exact point, when Microsoft finally made a definitive bottom. Let's go to Adara. Hopefully, some Intel updates. maybe?
So sort of. I mean, I looked up the keywords from that chat that you mentioned. So there was a story here on Bloomberg Law, but this was a while ago, 2:37 p.m. I have not seen it on social media at all, nor is it on Benzinga. I just Googled the keywords, as I said. But again, this happened almost an hour ago now. Basically, they said they decided to shelve plans that included a possible stake sale or spinoff, specifically with regards to its networking revision. So this story is real, but not heavily reported and almost an hour old.
Intel just has, I mean, I wrote
It's been on a run anyway, so it's...
That's what I was going to say. Like, just to give you guys an idea, I mean, I was posting up all these trades that I have all day here today, of course. But, you know, what I wrote down for Intel was the same thing, waiting for more momentum here. This is the October high break, 42.50. Should try to hold it as momentum has been working out there for Intel. So, you know, as long as you're staying there, like, there it is, should try to hold anything that you got for the long, because momentum is king and it just drives everything. You know, like this Marvell's trade didn't really get going until eventually it did. And now it can't be stopped, as we're now at $1.40 in the money on this trade. And again, momentum from earnings, right? And you want to have names that have some of those things. And like Meta had momentum to the downside for about 3 weeks there, as it just kept on bleeding until eventually, maybe I want to put volume on here so I can see like if there was a capitulation.
Oh, you don't have volume on your daily chart?
No, I don't. I mean, it's easy to put on. Okay, here, maybe we can just do this together.
The volume bottom wasn't the bottom. It was the earnings. There's an earnings, which earnings is going to skew it, unfortunately. But if you look at after it leveled off, there was like a taper off, and then this day, right in here, you had a volume spike on like the trend break, which would have been, call it the 25th. So the 25th, like this is the day when it really turned around, and it was like tapering off in volume and then spiked back to the upside.
I'm just going to change this green on here. It's so easy. You can come over to the screen. I mean, this is a real trading software. You add the volume. See, I have like simple moving averages on here. You click on this, it's a 200. You know, you click on that, it's the 50. And then we just add volume, and you can click on indicators, create, and then there's a whole list of different indicators, parabolic, SARs, whatever, moving Bollinger Bands, all that kind of stuff. And you just push, I mean, most of you guys are, most of the traders watching this are traders anyways, so this is easy to do. But yeah, I was just looking to see if there was any sort of a pickup in volume at some of those bottoms, and there wasn't. So, but yeah, actually Meta's volume has been very, very consistent on a daily for a very long time. So good on Meta, and we'll keep that up there. So I'm just going to save this layout now as we go through some of the afternoon highs and lows. And here's a Halts scanner that we have. This is a NASDAQ test stock, ZVZZT. I don't think this is anything. POLEU. Some of these are not even. Oh, Andretti Acquisition Corp. Michael? I don't know what's going on with this one. POLEU. No volume at all. So I don't think it's halted. I just don't know what the hell's going on here. And then maybe these are relatively new acquisition corps right now. So SPACs, right, that are coming into play there. WLACU and POLEU. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Andretti, pole position. Okay.
Yeah, pole position.
All right.
I'm sure it is.
There we go. So,
there was a couple of SPACs today, but.
All right, so I just got to make this a little bit bigger so I can actually pull this aside and get rid of it there. And then what in the, Neil, the imbalance there, sorry about getting too excited there, but I have to get a little more excited. This rate here, BMNR, yeah, what in the.
That's bigger than.
Load, no, don't click it twice, my guy. 3 million shares? What? BMNR's done 43 million shares today. That's a lot, but 3 million into the sell side of BMNR. Wow, okay.
And here I thought you were talking about Butterfly.
Oh, yeah, even some of those, man, like 1.5 is pretty big for Butterfly there.
That's more than, Butterfly's only done 2.4 million shares all day long. So 1.6 is pretty big for them. The only downside of that is $3 stock, man. So that's not a lot of money. Like that can, like think of how much money it takes to pair off 1.5 million. This is $4 million bucks. Well, more than that. It's like, okay, fine. $4.5 million in buying power, and you could pair off the entire imbalance on Butterfly. But BMNR, that's not exactly chump change, as that's going to be 33 bucks, right? So that's like 100 mil or something along, less than 100 million, but that's a pretty decent size imbalance. But you know what? Yesterday, it was actually the other direction. You wanted to, as it got closer to 350, it felt like the last couple times with the imbalance, you almost wanted to fade the other direction. Like if it was a sell, when you got to 350 and 55, you almost wanted to be buying it off of support, and then you would get this quick little flip, because it's not moving off of this imbalance. Like when that came out, when Sean reacted to the imbalance, BMNR dropped about 15 pennies and is now not doing anything. So yeah, gotta have it on the radar. Lucid's running out of time to trend break. As you can see here, it's close. It can still happen. I give it about 10, 15 minutes, but I wouldn't want to take it at 350 just in case Lucid for some reason had an imbalance as well. That's where you got to be at least a little bit cautious. And yeah, that's why we have the locator up. You never know. Like the other day on Tip, so that's like the trader information portal here at Real Trading, where you could look at prior profits. Like everyone was trying to speculate. I was talking to some traders today. Where's compare your profits? Oh, that's right. I have to reopen it.
Yeah, well, okay, you load that up. I already looked at it. It's not, okay, you got it.
It's nothing today, but it was a couple of days ago. There was just a gigantic number on the NASDAQ, and everyone was trying to figure out, okay, well, what was big on the NASDAQ? And the guess was, and I think it was probably the right guess, was it was the big reversal that happened in MSTR and some of the crypto names. And since that day, BMNR has been on there every single day. Today, by market, sometimes you want to look at it by market, but you can also look at just the top 10 traders yesterday. TSX, NASDAQ, 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 NASDAQ. Ooh, Amex. Blue Ocean, so someone did good on the overnight markets with 38 hundo. And then, yeah, some TSX trading. It's interesting. Usually, some days you will see Europe on there, but recently not so much. Oh, and then we got a super chat.
It's not even a super chat. I just put it up here.
Oh, it's a question.
Yeah, 3,800. Man, I can't wake up to play trade Blue Ocean for that. Okay, let's go, Neil and Sean. When you switch over to a different stock and change your stop on the fly, how is your hockey set up? So we basically use all the F keys on this, and it's just, we do set them up differently for every stock. So it's just like, that's why I've changed over to focus basically on just a couple names as I'm involved in them. So I can
show it live.
Oh yeah, well, I show it live all the time.
I want to show this, like the order setup.
Oh, yeah. But, well, I was going to say this first. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. Here's stop. We just put it in like that. I literally did it on Marvell 5 minutes ago. So you could just put in the stop price and then you just let it go, right? And so, but anyways, there's many different stops that we have here. What I do is, to make it not so complicated, I always put in my stop. I'm going to get another piece of Marvell here, just before the imbalances. I always put basically my stop in, not before I take the trade, but I always know where my stop is going to be. So it's pretty easy for me to do that. Like even when I was building this Marvell trade, I said to you guys, like the stop is right here. So as soon as I got in, I basically just, long Marvell, okay. The first thing that hits me is not where to put my take profit, it's where to put my stop. Okay, because take profit is an easy solution if you're right. It's the stop that's the hard thing to do. So we do take advantage of that, and yeah, it is a great question. And Neil, we can spend time showing you our.
Yeah, I think stops are only hard if you don't determine where wrong is on the chart before. Like if you don't know where or just whatever your out's going to be. Like for myself, like you do have to manually put it every single time. Like it's not a key where it's automatically. I think what you might have been thinking about is I know some platforms have it'll be like an automatic 1% stop, and you just hit that key and it's a 1% regardless of what you pull up. You can set a stop like that. I could set that up in my keyboard and I could use that at Real Trading. I don't, because I like to put in my own price. Like I'll tell you right here, if we break trend, ideally I'd be short somewhere in the 1350 to 1355 range on a break of a trend line in Lucid, and then I use a prior bar high as my out. So if we were to break it now, I'm giving it to the high of the day. Now that could change because it could put in a lower high, then break the trend. But on a 3 minute, I'm just using the prior bar, so I know where my stop is going to go before, and then you manually put it in. But if you, let's just say you swing trade and you want to use percentage stops, that's something that most brokers, I think, you can just set it up so that you can say if stock pulls back 1% or something, or if I'm out of the money 1% or whatever, it can get you out. That feature is absolutely available at Real Trading. I don't know anybody here that uses it. We tend to all put in like specific price stops, as far as I know. Even when I put a trailing stop in, it's not a true trailing stop because I'll put it at a level. Like I won't say if the stock pulls back X amount, get me out. I'll usually have it anchored to a level and a specific price level, at least for myself. So 20 minutes to go till the imbalances. Let's go to Adara.
Yeah, just so you guys know, Trump is live right now with a couple different individuals, including the CEO of Ford, Jim Farley, talking, as we expected, about these fuel emissions. If I get more details, I'll let you know. But he's praising the CEO of Ford. He's talking about how America's the hottest country in the world. His hair is slightly disheveled. Again, he is live right now. If there's any details, I will keep you posted. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. But there's a follow-up question from the same
Thank
user.
you
And you
very
guys
much,
use hidden stops,
Adara.
correct? There's two types of stops you can use. One that sits on internal servers here and waits for the print on your time and sales at a specific price or whatever, and then fires out an order to the market. So you can use those. They're going to be a little bit slower because they're not sitting server side. But there are stop orders that you can send, and they go out to the market, and they are now waiting on the other end. Now, there is some that would say that those are not hidden stops because you are sending it out, and it's sitting on somebody else's server to then execute for you. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that those aren't hidden. They're all supposed to be hidden, obviously. But if it sits on our server, it's going to be that tiny little bit slower. It's not a huge difference, but like if you're trading an IPO, you might notice a difference. But then it's truly hidden because it's sitting on our side. And that's available at Real Trading. You can use either one. Like there's multiple stop orders that you can use. And then you can set it to, you can also get it to throw whatever key you want. Like you can market order, limit order, only fire ARCA, sweep every single book, only sweep cheap fees. Like there's just, if I tried to go through all of them, there'd be almost too many, trust me. But all of those available at Real Trading.
It's referred to as like the routing tree. You can select which route you would like to go, and you know, whether you're sensitive to time, fees, all of that. We're not too sensitive to fees at all. We just got another out right there on Marvell at $100.50. So right there, 155, as we now have 5% left. Womp, womp, womp. Right there. Someone on the chat was like, we don't want to miss anything that Trump is saying. So we're going to go over to Adara right now and figure out what exactly is going on at the White House.
Yeah, Trump just saying that the U.S. is going to have a large percent of the chip business very soon. Here's NVIDIA not really reacting to this, but again, Trump saying the U.S. is going to be getting a large percentage of the chip business very soon. Back to you.
Okay, so like, there's nothing terribly crazy. Like even like the news service for me isn't even really saying too much.
No, nothing
here.
at all.
No, not at all. Like
that's why I was like, we were asking, like, is this even happening? But
NVIDIA is moving down heavily.
That's why I want to tell everybody that, like, this is. And that's why I showed that comment about, like, you know, this is a great place to hang out and everything and watch trading with us here, right? And the fact is that not only are we hopefully putting on some decent trades for you, giving you some good ideas and answering some good questions about stop orders, routing trees, everything like that, but it's also going to be your #1 source for news. Like, there's no other channel that is going to break these stories like this. It's just not happening. And if there is, then please send it to me ASAP, so I'll listen to that in my ear instead. Like, as soon as something hits, it's immediately over to Adara, and then based on her, you know, exuberance, we know if it is something that is, you know, urgent or not. And we can clearly see right away, Neil and I are sitting in front of live level 2s of the whole market. We have over 60 plus markets here at Real Trading. So the opportunity to flip over to any name at any time, and we pretty much know most of the symbols off by heart. So it's very easy to call up a story and talk about, you know, what's good in that robotics play. We talked about iRobot, Rich Tech Robotics, Palantir, Tesla, why Tesla's moving on that, why Uber's moving on that. I gave you that ETF that I'm in as well for the robotics, and it's all about that. So as we continue to go, this is what we're talking about, right? And so we want to thank Adara and everybody else, right? We're introducing Sia, did a fantastic job filling in for Adara the other day, and that was great. So, you know, there's more and more coming, and you're just really, it might seem like we've been doing this now, because we have for 5 or 6 years, maybe even more than that. I should always get that exact date. I don't know why I don't have it. But, you know, it's getting better. So that's quite an amazing feat that we're able to.
Almost 6 years, because wasn't it just January of 2020, COVID?
This is what I'm trying to find out. I mean, I guess that we can go.
Whenever COVID
just ask
started,
Brendan,
when COVID hit North America for real, we came to YouTube with
for real?
In that first 2 or 3 months. And one of the reasons I remember, because one of our first interviews was the former floor manager for the trading floor here was actually vacationing in China and was stuck in China. And we interviewed him, like, he's like, what's going on over there? And that was within our first few, I think, months on YouTube when we interviewed Greg and he was from China. And that's when, like, we were like, oh, this is sounding pretty serious in real time. Because at first you're like, it's not that bad. And then you start hearing, like, the stories of, like, how they were locking down, and you're like, oh, yeah, this is not good at all.
I remember there's an interview of me and Randy. I got to go find that. It's probably on my Instagram. Yes.
Sorry, just letting you guys know. Jim Farley, CEO of Ford, is speaking as we speak, like right this second.
Okay. Is Ford moving? Let me see.
I mean, this is what we're talking about, right? Like Neil and I just instantly call up Ford. Where's that snooze button? Yeah, nothing's going on. We don't have anything like that here.
Good trending stock.
Go outside and start barbecuing something. I mean, there's nothing going on right now with Ford. But again, we can sort of have it up. I'll put it on one of my side screens there. If it starts moving around a little bit, that's Ford. But yeah, man, lots of love from the chat, and we want to thank everybody for that. And thank you for the kind words about all that. So yeah, Marvell just made a move down. People saying that NVIDIA is flushing. I should be looking over here. Yeah, flushing is probably a good word. Watch out for that one. What level did I like? Yes, 179. We're not going to take anything now. There's only 10 minutes to go until those imbalances. So, you know, not afraid to take the trade, obviously. That's what I do best, I think, is trading. But we'll have to wait. Like this 179, I'm not, you know, that's tomorrow's trade today. That was another segment that I used to have on the after show, was tomorrow's trade today. And we're not going to make that right now. We're going to wait on it. Okay, see, now Adair's laughing, so I know there's something happening.
Something must.
But yeah, there goes NVIDIA to the downside. Go ahead.
Trump just described a car as cute. He's like, when I was just in Japan, which for the record, I don't even remember the last time Trump was in Japan.
Right.
He talked about how cute a car was. It almost looked like the Beetle. That's all that was I was reacting to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, good. Okay, yeah, so great. All right, so thanks, Adair. So there you go there. We knew to throw it over to her immediately. But yeah, I don't remember him traveling to Japan, but didn't he make a move into China? He was just in China, wasn't he? Or maybe, no, he sent people through. So
what's his name?
I don't know, but anyways, whatever. All right, what's up? Throw it up then. Dave's Uber. Oh, okay, this is Dave's.
Oh, this is Dave's.
Do opposite to win trade of the day. Okay. See, like I see the word Uber there. It's like, okay, but that's not what he means. Okay, do the opposite of the win. Snowflake for the double beat and sparkly guide.
Snowflake was having a really good day today.
Oh, do opposite. So he's just not having that much faith in his own call.
So you're saying shorts? So I can't tell. You think they're going to have a double beat and a sparkly guide.
Right, but do the opposite of what he's saying.
You're telling everyone to do the opposite.
Yeah, I have that. That's what I always feel like too. It's like, am I telling people the right thing or what? Like yesterday when I was like excited about Marvell, it was like, okay, you know, don't get too excited. But yeah, Palantir. Snowflake I was involved with on its IPO. I don't think it was a direct list. Spotify was involved, a direct list. Palantir heavily involved at that direct list.
IPO on floor history.
But this one right here, Snowflake, I'm a little nervous about it, Dave, and I'm just going to tell you the truth. And I said it about ANF or AEO, and I was wrong. It's such a huge move up on such good stories for Snowflake that if they put up good numbers, I mean, there's been a lot of good numbers coming through from a lot of these names. You know, MongoDB, we just saw that was a huge move the other day. So some of these plays that are similar to a Snowflake have been moving. And this one could go, but it looks like it's priced to perfection. And with a PE of, I'm going to say it's probably in the 80s or 90s.
You're not going to like that PE.
I'm not in the name anymore. I was out of this.
I'm not either, but
no, I was out of this name at $200. But yeah, so first of all, they didn't even make money last quarter. And then there it is, 163 PE right now for Snowflake. So
they could crush and it'll still be triple digits.
Exactly. So that's what I was wondering about Snowflake there. So yeah, like the stock, like everything that they're doing, but at the end of the day, I would be nervous about how expensive. And if we go over to Trader TV Research, which is of course Dara's page, she did have the graphics, and maybe when she has a minute, we can call it back up.
Expected moves.
Yeah, the moves for tonight. We can call that graphic up and just put it on the screen whenever you get a chance, Andre. But there it is. I don't have it on my screen. It will be on hers. We could see a bigger move there. Oh, there it is right there. So here it is, Snowflake, 9.3%. I'd go over that number.
How come no one's asked about C3AI today?
Nobody knows anything about C3AI. We've talked about this many times before. What is that moving today? Let's go over under, Neil. Forget it.
They do AI, Sean. That's what everybody knows what C3AI does. They do
AI. Yeah, and they do it like, it's almost like, oh, by the way, whatever team Chris Paul plays for, they told him to go home.
He already said he's retiring.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm just saying that he's gone. Okay, we're going to play a game now. We're going to go over under, okay? So call that back up, over under percentage moves.
C3AI over.
Neil, didn't start yet. All right, call it up. Adair's screen. It's ready. There it is. Okay, so CRM. You're up.
Under.
Under? Yeah,
Yeah, I
same.
just feel like
I'll go
it's been beaten up so badly that how much worse could it possibly get? And I think that
EBAI reports today? Hold on a second.
No, so they don't, but Path also reports today. They just didn't have an expected move that I could find. That's why they're not here, but Path is another one to just remember.
Path, I'm going over, whatever that number is. Okay, thank you, Adara. And then now she's blocking. Okay, the next one was 11.5, 5 below over. Retail has been crazy hot.
I thought AEO was going to move the most yesterday. I think over, and I think it's the best chance to be double digits up.
Yeah, we're not. This is an over/under.
Okay, so they forget about direction. Okay,
yeah.
That's
so over that move. Snowflake, you think over 9%?
I don't have strong.
This can go either way.
I don't have strong feelings about that one.
No, neither do I actually. Even though we just talked about it.
And if I don't, then I should say under. Because
Yeah,
the
I'm
way
saying
I
under.
see it, if you don't have strong feelings that something's going to do something on earnings, then the option writers always win, in a general sense. So like, go with that. Option writers win on that one, and I think C3I is the over.
Right, Rivian Millionaire. He's saying people might not understand over/under. It just means over that number or under that number. Come on, Rivian Millionaire. I think that was a troll. Okay.
A trading show doesn't understand over/under.
And Chris Paul AI, 11.2%.
Oh, that's why you did C3.
I'm gonna make this judgment on what it's doing today. Okay, because in a big day where AI has been in the news, obviously, we've been talking about that a little bit. You can see AI up 4.5%. I'm going over that number then, because that number was 9.5, was it 13%? I don't know, something great. 11.5. So I'll go over. I mean,
yeah, my first one was a C3AI over.
Yeah.
Because when you have
it's only a $15 name, too.
Especially when you have a deep understanding of what they do.
Right.
Like I always do. Usually I'm not going to do it again. We have 5 minutes till imbalances. Usually what I'll do is I'll pretend that I know what they do by reading out the literal description of the company. You can find it, whether you find it on Wikipedia or just a news service, and then I'll read it out. And what's crazy about it is every time I've done that, not a single person understands it. Nobody does. It's like the description of the company usually it's like in their own words, and I still don't.
Okay, so let's review a few things.
The only thing is, just one quick note here.
Go.
Because a lot of times on this trend break, hey, give it to the high of the day. It's 345. My stop is this razor tight. Like I'm just giving it to basically above 60. Like for a couple of reasons. One, it didn't go right away. Two, there's 3 minutes till the imbalances. So before the imbalances come out, I tighten every single stop. So I get it, it's only 5 cents. I wouldn't usually give it 5 cents, but in this particular sense with imbalances coming in, it just makes sense too. It's just, like it didn't go right away, which is what you want to happen.
I would say BM&R, no, because I wrote down
gone.
I wrote down on the sticky note.
It's gone, BM&R.
You can see as I wrote down.
Where'd it go?
How about this?
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter. I wrote down BM&R was a 2.9 million sell at 330, and then right now it's a 1.5 million buy. I just can't
flip. I
really want to see because level 2 can't really hold 1.5 million, 3 million shares. Like it's going to create some big action there at the close. But you see, I don't know when it flipped, but there's a big move right there. Like just out of nowhere, 20 cents. So when we're looking at this thing, and I wrote down at 330 it was a sell, so you can see it was trending down, and we're one about the flip. So we can highlight individual stocks and watch them. So I'm going to try to watch this one into the close just to see if there's any sort of, not necessarily funny business or anything like that. I just want to see what winds up happening with BM&R because was a sell, a buy, and this paired value means that there's already 3.5 million shares spoken for. So they've already paired off 3.5 million shares, just leaving 1.5. So it was a 5 million share position that someone's trying to unload or get into, depending on which way it is. So we'll have to figure out right now what happens with this BM&R, and then we have Enbridge as a buy. But you can see here on New York, stocks like Enbridge and Pfizer, see, this is why you can't trust that all the time. It doesn't necessarily mean that with the direction the stock is going. What it means is that if that is still there at 348, 349, it might get some, which is great now. We might get a little bit more action on it, but more importantly, at 359. So you're looking to see, is there any actionable trades right there at the close where there's a little bit of share left over to do? And if so, if they have to buy 1.5 million shares of BM&R at 4 o'clock, the stock's gonna jump at 358, 359 because people need to get in, right? They're trying to front run this big buy that comes through. So we'll watch BM&R, just dancing around right here with only 2 minutes left.
Yeah, not much, like Sean said, not much on the locator besides that. But I think that was the play I thought at 350, not now. It already, that's what I don't like. It already flipped.
Yep.
Like I was thinking that was the 350 play to watch it flip or 355, but unfortunately, it's kind of already moved. I don't really like it. So as I said, I was going to just tighten the stop. And you could give it to the high of the day. If this was 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock, then normally I got to give it to it breaks the trend and the prior bar is here. But so it's technically breaking a rule, but I never have a time frame for a trade. But as a day trader, you do. At 4 o'clock is a bit of a thing. You're not supposed to be in things aftermarket. So there's no point giving it more room. And as I said, sometimes you take it and it works. But the reason I like trend lines is overall they're good. And then where is, not Rich Tech, it was iRobot. Sometimes when you break a trend line, this is what you want to happen. Like you want it to almost like immediately flush. Like the best trend line break trades are like the floodgates will open up when it breaks that trend line. And then you're like, yeah, okay, fine. People are actually using it. And there you go. So 30 seconds, BM&R is going to be the only name I think worth watching here going into the close. We'll see. NVIDIA could pop up for like several million shares, no idea. And then there's also this butterfly. I'm going to throw butterfly up as well. Because that's a big portion of the day's volume on butterfly.
All right, so BM&R is getting paired off now. It's only 750,000. I think it's probably going to go to the south side here with only 10 seconds left before this comes through. So there's BM&R right there, starting to pair off as we get closer. This is it right here. All right, so now we are now out. There's 350. So I don't really see any BM&R on here. I see Google with a big sell. All right, Rigetti with a nice buy there as well. And I apologize, I don't see BM&R on here. Nope. 6.0, there it is.
Google drop.
I just saw it, 6.0, so it stays as a buy. So very little action there. So okay, we might have hitched our wagon to the wrong horse there.
Google did move on that 1.5. 1.5 to sell. This was the reaction on Alphabet, which was, by the way, having a really good day. So Alphabet was doing well, dollar drop in. Remember, as I said, 355, you'll probably see that 1.5 million at or before 355 pair off a little bit on Google, and if it hasn't done so by then at 358, you're very likely to see the same thing. So that's the only big name there, right? Like I saw nothing else. I just only saw Google.
We got out, I mean, once Marvell broke that $100 level, we got out of that one. We only had 5% left, so that was like an absolute.
Oh, Rigetti's.
That was a great one to top off the day, man. Really good trade there for Marvell. I only have 3 trades today. Okay, so Marvell's on there. Yeah, I talked about Rigetti. Was a nice little
No, I meant the move today.
Yeah, I know, 9%. That SMR move, too, kept continuing through as we had. Remember, this was part of that Jensen story, right, on Joe Rogan. And, of course, Adair mentioned some of the highlights of that and just talking about how more power necessary, moving forward. So there's only a certain amount of, access to power. And it looks like people looking at uranium, obviously SMR is going to go with a high short float as well. Amazon with a little bit of a bid, which kind of is funny because it went downside and then it comes out and now it's upside. So there goes Amazon, still red today. Look, there's some ugly things today. It's not, even though the Nasdaq's up, Amazon's red, Microsoft obviously red, Meta's red. Google's having a fantastic day, but it's pulling back now. I wouldn't consider anything in the imbalances as being a concern, right? If anything, you could use these moves down to maybe get better options. Because of the false, basically, squeeze to the downside there, because it has nothing to do with anything other than those imbalances. So that imbalance can get paired off, and it goes right back there up to the upside. So so far, so good.
Yeah, Apple red too, considering it's a green day.
Yeah.
Like the Nasdaq's green, but like Apple also red. So like you have
Apple
a lot of
285.
You have a lot of big names that are red for the market to be holding up the way that it is. I think sometimes it's a good sign when the Mag 7 are weak and the market's able to be strong, at least in my opinion. So yeah, again, nothing crazy to look at, but I'll leave it up just in case. And if you happen to be looking at Google, it's already starting to pair off down to 1.3 million shares. Whether you're trading on imbalances or just trading in general, one of the problems has been risking your own money or just simply not having enough to start off with. So it gives you that fear of losing, and a lot of traders get kept on the sidelines because of it. And that's now changing. Trade the Pool's transforming how traders access the markets with its limited risk trading model. Traders use funded capital while Trade the Pool absorbs the downside. This allows traders to focus on what matters, discipline, consistency, and growth. And when you hit the profit targets, you get to keep 70% of the profits. No fear or barriers, just a real opportunity. This is the revolution of limited risk trading powered by Trade the Pool. You can visit tradethepool.com or scan the QR code you see in front of you, you should, for 10% off your first evaluation And you can also see the link in the description. There you go. There's a QR code. Yeah, I read it too fast. It wasn't there just yet. So yeah, Google's starting to pair off. Only about a minute and a half to go. Big move on Rigetti. Yeah, Mom Spaghetti. This is I mean, there's a couple of stocks that have looked like this. Like it's a consolidation off that pullback, but it's not yet a breakout. And continuation would simply look at that rounded bottom. Actually, maybe this was Rigetti that I was pointing out earlier today. Yeah, this feels like the exact same thing I said in the morning show. Doesn't really matter. 27, rounded bottom, 27 breaker. That's the kind of number that gets thrown. Like I'll usually put it on the iPad and then it won't happen that day, and then maybe it happens 2 days from now, but I want to make sure I have the level on there, and those are key ones that you want to pay attention to. So we know there's some earnings after market tonight, led by, depending on your opinion, Snowflake and CRM. I would suggest those are probably the two biggest ones.
CRM by far. I mean, CRM.
Yeah, those are the names that probably most people would hold. And then movers were expected, I think, in 5, and C3AI, the AI company that is, so well understood by the markets. And then we say UiPath as well.
Yeah. I was just saying, CRM's at 200, and I just looked it up, $225 billion market cap, 80 for Snowflake. But I think they're both important. BBAI.
Only two big ones.
Yeah, exactly. And 5 below, I think, will be a fun trade. We can see what AEOs are. There's Big Bear AI. Let's go. Those of you that are holding strong on Big Bear AI, bouncing smooth off the 200 period daily average, moving average SMA. So what's up to Big Bear AI family, as that seems to be a good one these days. All right, so that's happening there. And then quickly, something else I wanted to discuss, and I can't remember what it is. Well, NVIDIA, we talked, I mean, I'm worried about them breaking through 179. That could happen right here in the last 5 minutes. The imbalances are now probably flipped. So I was going to say, without even looking at it, I'm going to say Google's heading higher. GOOGL, just to have a quick look.
NVIDIA is now 155.
Yeah, so there it is. So there goes Google. Without even looking, I don't know if they got flushed right there, but here we go. Now it's trying to go back upside there as those imbalances do finally get paired off. So how you pair them off is someone, like right now there's a 1.5 million sell. It was someone in the chat asked about this, and I said, you got it right. So someone has to come in for 1.5 million to buy. Okay, if that doesn't happen, then the market maker will find liquidity and just pair it off. So that's where, if it's a big enough, like with these levels here on NVIDIA, which is probably 100 million shares today, this 1.4 million, there's going to be no problem finding liquidity either in the dark or somewhere else to pair this off. So they'll just put out a print of 1.4 million shares, like right here, probably at the bid or at the ask, and then just either work out of that on another day or has their own inventory as market makers. So like whoever the underwriter is, maybe it's Goldman or whoever, will distribute some of that and just get paired off. So we'll have to wait to see what winds up happening here, but it's Google right now with the 9 million pair off. Sorry, NVIDIA. Google also big time. I don't know, AMCR, like what's going on with this name right here? Not doing much today, Amcor, so we'll pass on that. FXI with a bid underneath it, that is a Chinese 100 going off there as well. XOM, not too much going on. CMG, Chipotle. I mean, if you are thinking that people are going back, this is a back to work play. Like most of their real estate, obviously in high dense traffic areas. So as traders and as employees of big banks and some of that are forced back to work. I forget what I was talking about in the lunchroom, but somebody was getting forced back to work there, and we talked about it on the show yesterday as well. So I think that
it was Instagram was saying 5 days a week, right?
That's what it was, yeah, Instagram. So also some opportunities there for Starbucks, Chipotle, Tim Hortons, something like that, like places that get a lot of business from people that are at work and looking for a break. So lunchtime, Kava could be another one of those names as well. 2 minutes to go. NASDAQ flat basically on the day, which is pretty good considering the open that we had in the ES.3.
Yeah, speaking of, by the way, for those that are asking, Meta doesn't have an imbalance. There might have been a small one.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
I look at least I don't know. It didn't have an imbalance when I checked. Those wicks again. Well, you can see this is yesterday's low. I was going to try and show you that that's support for the last couple of days, but you get the idea. So bouncing off the double bottom, and sometimes what'll happen, and actually, it's been a while since we've explained this. I'm not saying this is the case, but oftentimes you can see on small imbalances, if a stock has been weak, but been holding support, and it's like a Mag 7 heavily bought back name, like the company does buybacks. So you're not allowed to do buybacks in the last 10 minutes of the day. So if a stock has potentially been supported by a buyback buy program, I'm not saying this is the case here, and there's a small imbalance on it, sometimes you get this kind of a rollover. It just has a little bit more momentum if it had been propped up throughout the day. And I'm just speculating on that. Sometimes you will see these outsized drops because it's just Meta that's doing it.
Like, we don't even know if Meta has a buyback.
No, I don't know.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah, it's just a piece of news that sometimes can be useful if you happen to be in one of those stocks that's looked oddly weak but had some support and they have a buyback. That's like Amazon's not moving. Right? Like where everything started this morning was on Microsoft. Okay, they are moving, but not as much as Meta, but they are moving to the downside. So you are getting a pullback, but Meta certainly the most. And it's worth paying attention to. A, the level where it bounced, and B, where it sold off from when we come in tomorrow to look at Meta. So selling off from 644, catching a bit at this double bottom at 638. That's where they decided to make a market again. And that can be useful for us tomorrow morning, as we are now just seconds away from the closing bell, brought to you by 3D Capital. So scan that QR code, $1,000 giveaway, your ETF for early stage disruptive innovation companies. And ring it because the market is now closed. There we go. Yeah, so it's crazy because we're going to end up NASDAQ up 0.2%, but Meta down 1%. Apple was down on the session. As well. I mean, obviously we had the Microsoft story earlier, but a lot of the Mag 7 names looking weak. Amazon also looking relatively weak, down 0.9%. So we're actually led not by the typical Mag 7 strength today, which is a good thing sometimes.
Sure, for sure. Okay, stay tuned for CRM earnings coming through very soon. Snowflake as well. But what a great day. Again, too, I want to thank Rahim Alani from OCI to come through early today. Every day around 8:30. We are back now live at 8 a.m. daily. Okay, we'll be discussing all these earnings plays that are coming out, including Five Below, CRM, Snowflake, right? So there's C3AI. Big names coming out very, very soon. We're excited to do all of that. And yeah, it's interesting to see that like the NASDAQ and the ES both up, but many of those Mag 7 names are downside. Obviously, Tesla sort of helped with that, get going a nice little upside play there. Salesforce is now at 248 and absolutely ripping right now to the top side. So I'm in this name and likely we'll be in it for a while, but there it goes. Salesforce ripping now up 9% and going a little bit higher here for CRM. So there it goes, 256 and change. Salesforce upside. Glad to see that move happening right now.
It's needed.
Yeah, $3.25 for Salesforce. So
where do you think it stopped, that move just now?
Oh yeah, I was watching.
200 period moving average on the daily. Spiked right to 260, almost on the nose, which has been rejected since April. Like the bounce in April to the 200 period moving average, that's exactly where it went to. All right, well, Five Below is also going to be out, so whatever. We're still here for now. So I just heard that came out, and that's also to the upside. 7% to the upside. That's going to be in the underside, though. So both of those two names are actually under the expected move, but both to the upside. So that's a pretty good start. Yeah, so far so good. All right, it's 4:02. Thank you so much for watching. There goes CRM now ripping again, up 10%. It's going to take out that 260, but watch out. That is the 200 period moving average. All right, that's Neil. I'm Sean. Thanks, Brendan. Thanks, Adara. Thanks. Hold on a second.
Thank you very much, Dara.
All right. Thank you to Fabian over there, Ramin, Andre, Sharif, and Joe for the midday shows. As there goes CRM now, $261, up 11%, and starting to really kick here. So that's great, man. That's a great opportunity for tomorrow's trade as CRM continues to rip. Okay, we're out of here, man. Thank you for everything today. We're back tomorrow, bright and early at 8 a.m. Ciao till then.